Yeah. Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo. Culture. Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat. Well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Andy, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping me glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call them and let them know. Culture, probably Pablo. You know, now introducing the man of the hour. Big O, a.k.a. Orlando also Gary. Yeah.
Get it back to Dragic. Dragic finds the big man for a slam. Good patience from Dragic.
4-1, 3 straight series. They played exceptionally well.
And a lot to be proud of, and tremendous stories all throughout that franchise.
So Crowder, the heads-up defensive play to help force that turnover. Butler back to Iguodala. Andre Iguodala for 3. And a timeout call by Brad Stevens. Dragic hits the 3. Jimmy Butler, nice drive off the glass.
I love the way Butler's attacking to start this game.
Jimmy Butler, sweet fake, count it, and the foul. Another good aggressive move for Butler. Duncan Robinson, the quick release, nails the three-pointer. Jaylen Brown was right in his face. Brown attacks the rim, comes up short on the layup, rebound, back up, won't go. Tice falls down, Butler pushes, finds Crowder, and lays it up and in. Butler to Iguodala, he's going to try again. Knocks it down, Andre Iguodala lighting it up, and a timeout called by the Celtics.
Make big-time plays. Andre feeling it and deciding to get Iggy with it. My goodness.
Hero on the pull-up. Again, Tyler Hero, back-to-back jumpers, and the game is tied. Adebayo drives down the lane, and the flush. Wow. Adebayo, count it, and one. Off the dribble. Knocks down the mid-range shot, and a chance for a three-point play. Williams up right into Adebayo. Duncan Robinson finds some room, gets off the 3. It's good. Duncan Robinson from downtown. The lead is 5. Iguodala back to Butler. Adebayo, double team, out Robinson. Robinson for 3. Bang! Duncan Robinson from downtown, and the lead is 15. 23 remaining, more free throws for Miami.
Look at Bam's eyes once he realizes Duncan Robinson is on the weak side wide open. On-point pass. Knockdown shooters do what they do.
As the Celtics still fighting. Hero, pass inside. Bam Adebayo with the exclamation point. The Heat eliminate the Boston Celtics in 6 games. Next up, the Los Angeles Lakers on Wednesday night. Much respect between those two coaches.
Yeah, and Kenny, what I saw out of this team, even before the shutdown, I saw a team coming together in February and March that I thought at that time was the best passing team in the league. I thought it was the smartest team in the NBA. I think Eric Spoelstra, going into this bubble, was one of the top 5 coaches. I now think he is the best coach in the NBA. When they got to the restart, it got down to the bubble, though, I started to see a team, and I said this before the Milwaukee series, I said I wouldn't be shocked if this team makes it all the way to the finals. That's how connected they were playing. And here's what they do so well. They do the basics at a really high level. And by basics, I mean they never hang anybody out to dry defensively. So they can trust each other, I think, at a higher level defensively as teammates than any other team in the NBA. They're there for help and recover. They don't miss assignments. They make sure they double when they're supposed to. They make sure they don't leave you on an island. Offensively, they just don't miss the open guy. They make sure it goes to the next available open player, and they trust that guy to make a shot. So the word trust, I think, is something that comes to mind when I think of this team before anything else. I played 10 years in the league, and I played on some teams that didn't trust each other very much. It's a very difficult thing to come by, and it's something that they have at a really high level. And he talked about the competitiveness. I think trust goes right there with that. This is a very special group, and do not underestimate them against the Lakers.
This is the Big O Show.
Yeah, baby. We're clocking. Oh, I love it. Did you notice that funky noise it makes? Like, oh, clocking. Oh, yeah, baby. What a weekend. What an awesome freaking weekend. If you're, listen, if you're not a pure South Florida sports fan like yours truly, then you didn't have a great weekend, you know, outside of Inter, of course, which somebody just mentioned that. I think it was John. It's one of those deals where, I mean, you got to feel good today, right? I mean, it all started with the Dolphins' domination on Thursday. Then it comes with the Marlins clinching on Friday. Then it comes with the Hurricanes embarrassing FSU on Saturday. 4 straight wins against FSU. You know what I mean? Be a bad parent, send your kid to FSU, whatever. I mean, whatever. I mean, then we got Sunday, and we've got the Heat finishing off the Celtics. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. I mean, this is a great, great weekend. It's been a lot of fun. Listen, we have had, like, really shitty sports here for a while, right? I mean, for several years, we were lost in the Joe Philbin and Adam Gase haze and all that, and now you look at what Greer and Flores are doing, and it looks like the Dolphins are on the right track. We were stuck like in mud, and our wheels were spinning with the Miami Heat, and we were stuck with James Johnson and Whiteside, that stinking bum, and everything else that we had on this team that, you know, these untradeable pieces, and we had to wait till the back end of their contracts so you can unload the salaries because they become cap space that people are about to acquire. And so all these things, the Marlins, we were stuck with that devilish piece of shit, Loria, you know what I mean? And now we've got Jeter and Sherman, and they haven't proved it to us completely, but hey, man, you got to give them some credit, okay? Everybody had to play the same 60 games. They had the team with the least amount of experience pretty much in the majors. And in the 60 games, they made the playoffs. So they get credit. I don't care. I don't care that I know that it's not a real baseball season, and I understand if there was 162, the Marlins probably would not be in it, but it was 60. Everybody plays by the same rules. You know what I mean? It's not like when it starts raining in the middle of the game and your team fumbled. Oh, well, it was raining. No, dude, it's raining for both teams. That's your fault. It goes that way. So the Marlins get their credit too. They get their love. It's a lot of fun to see what's developing here in South Florida. Even with Inter, they're an expansion team, dude. And so they're going to have to figure things out. They just made a trade. They just traded Torres back to Seattle for a protected first-round pick. That broke just a little bit ago. And that's a good move, too. I think they need depth back there in the back line. And I think they're going to acquire some other type of player for the back line, and they're probably going to try to acquire a pretty good one because Reyes is awesome, but he's super young and he makes a lot of mistakes. But anyways, forget about that. So this has been just a phenomenal, phenomenal weekend, you know, overall. I had a blast. Think about it, what I just mentioned, all the hell and horror that we've been going through for many years now. You know, we're still waiting for the Panthers to get over the hump, and maybe Zito has the right mix. He's got the right owners. He's just got to find the right mix. So our soccer team, our hockey team are still trying to get over the hump. But all these other teams in town brought us a lot of happiness over the weekend, man. I got to say. And let's start it off with the Miami Heat. All right, let's talk a little Miami Heat because they deserve it. They're in the NBA Finals. They have accomplished something that is just absolutely phenomenal. Everybody had to go to the bubble, and I'm not saying this because the Heat made it. I think I've repeated this already several times. Whoever wins this title deserves double crown. This has been the hardest year to win an NBA title because you start the season and then you're off for 4 months, and now you've got to go to a bubble. Now, I got to tell you something. I don't make it out being in that bubble as difficult as some people make it out to be, okay? Because we've had, over the years, military, they go away from their families and their loved ones for months, years at a time, and they're in a war, okay? I had to leave, and I'm sure some of you have had to do this, where you had to take a job in another city because that's your career, and your family has to kind of fight through the adversity with you. So there's so many different ways where people leave their homes, and they have to be away from their loved ones for a little while. Not easy. Not saying it's easy, because it wasn't easy being away from my wife, all right? But I did it. And I did it because I'm trying to advance in my career years ago. And so if you have to do it, then you got to suck it up. And we heard that there were people that were kind of caving in to the bubble effect of all of that. And Miami did not. Miami embraced it because it takes an attitude. And you have to have that right attitude in order to survive all of this. And Miami had the right attitude. And let me tell you something where I made a mistake in a big-time way. And at first, people were saying, well, this situation, the Heat is normally a mentally tough team. And they, all these they put all these things of expectations on the Heat being able to handle the bubble. And I was a little bit taken aback from that. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I talked about it and I said, that this Heat team has not earned that right yet. They're young. They haven't proven anything yet. They haven't proven that they're tough. You're talking about Zoe's teams, and you're talking about Wade's teams, and you're talking about LeBron's teams. That's not this team. This was a couple months ago when this started, and everybody was, well, Heat is perfect for this. And I was like, yeah, if we were talking about Zoe and Timmy and Marley, yeah. If we were talking about the big three and those guys, yeah. Those kind of teams. But I don't know about this team. But they were right. Even though this team had not earned any kind of those labels, you know what I mean? It's one of those where you at least see that they were right. And I was wrong, man. They were perfectly built for this. And what I love about the bubble is it took away all of the advantages. Okay? You go home and you've got your 20,000 screaming for you, and they've got to sleep in another bed, and they've got to make the road trip. Nobody had to do that. Nobody had to handle the opposing team's atmosphere. You know what I mean? And that's then all of a sudden now you take all the periphery out, and all that's left is mano a mano. That's it. That's what it comes down to. And when we're talking about mano a mano, guess who survived? Miami Heat. They made it all the way to the NBA Finals. And because they were tougher than most, they were more consistent than most, and they found ways to win, man. It's character that they have. At the end of that series with Milwaukee, at the end of the series with the Pacers, at the end of the series with the Celtics, I came to the conclusion that Miami had more dogs than all those teams. Giannis may be the best player we faced here in the Eastern Conference so far. I could argue that now I'm brain farting. The kid for the Celtics, their best player, Jason.
Tatum.
Tatum. We could argue Tatum is the best player on the last series here, right? You can argue it, but what I can say for sure is that nobody had more hungry dogs on their team than Miami, more than Boston. I don't think they had enough people on Boston's team that were wired like Kemba and Marcus Smart. I don't even think Tatum's wired that way because he has these lapses where he doesn't start well, and it's like, dude, what are you doing? You're like the man. You got to, like, take it to another level. And while he is a great, great talent, I think I need to see a little more dog in him. You know what I mean? Whereas Marcus Smart lacks the talent of Tatum or Brown, but he's all dog. You know what I'm saying? But again, he's not Tatum. So no matter how much dog is in him, he's not going to shoot it like Tatum. As proof was there. That, yeah, he can hit your threes when he's streaking. You know, if he's going streaking, then, yeah, he'll hit a couple threes. But when he's not on, then he's going to hurt you. And that's what I saw from Miami's team. I saw more dogs on that roster over the Celtics, over the Bucks, and over the Pacers. And when they talk about culture and when they talk about how not everybody fits the Heat style, that's exactly what they're talking about. That if you're going to play for this team, which is the weird part about the guys they signed to the last time. I don't want to harp too much on that stuff. But the Whitesides of the world are not Heat guys. James Johnson, while he may have a attitude at times of being a Heat player, he was never really a Heat player. And Tyler, God bless him, a nice kid, super athlete, was never going to be a really good basketball player. Was always going to be an athlete playing basketball. You know what I mean? It was weird. The characteristics of those players did not fit what you see now. You know what I mean? And what you've seen in the past. And that's why this team is where it's at right now. And again, I got to admit, outside of the Milwaukee series, that's where I thought it would end. I thought for sure it was going to end in Milwaukee. And I had no problem if their season ended in the second round. That's what I thought they were. But the where I was dead wrong, like so many of us, is they knew what they were about. And they were going to be tougher than most. And in fact, they were tougher than everybody else in the Eastern Conference. And that's why they're in the NBA Finals. Amazing stuff, man. I got to say. Amazing stuff by this team. Now, let's go over a couple things. First of all, let's start off with Bam. Because I thought Bam's performance last night, 32 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists in the process. And as you all know, Bam had this whole thing about, well, I let my team down in Game 5, and I don't think any of us were actually believing any of that crap, that he let the team down in Game 5. And in Game 5, he had 13 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal, a block, shot 5 of 11. I mean, shot 3 of 4 from three-point range. I'm not sure where he let them down. You know what I'm saying? He had a really good game. But he felt like he didn't do enough. And I thought that's where Bam, when he talks about bouncing back, that's what I thought was the big message on his part about he had to bounce back.
I let my teammates down in game 5. So, I just had to realign myself and be who I really want to become. And I showed that tonight. You said you haven't seen me be a scorer in the fourth before. Well, there you go. So it's just one of those things, The coaches, they want me to be better. They want me to do great things. And that's the first time, I got played back to back. So, being in that moment and embracing it and taking over and winning the conference finals is a great thing for me. But at the end of the day, we got 4 more. Business isn't done yet.
This started a couple of years back when Riley said this guy was going to be special. And while he was physically talented, he was still raw, okay? And you're like, okay, well, all right, well, it's the Godfather. He says it. Zoe comes out, says the same thing. This guy's going to be great. And they saw the work ethic. And I think what you saw last night was Bam taking another step. He became an all-star this year. He is now playing like a superstar. He dominated. We're going to play Brad Stevens in a little bit, and you're going to hear Brad Stevens talk about him. And Bam last night, I truly believe, took that next step to be a superstar. And that's how he played last night. When you come up with 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists in a closing game, okay, that is sending a message that I'm here to lead. And Jimmy says all the time, he's the heart and soul of our basketball team. And all the guys say, when he's going, we're hard to beat. And they're right. And we keep waiting for Bam to take that next step and that next step. And I've been saying myself that I think the three-point shot is that next step for him. You know what? I think there was a step before that, and it was last night, where he just said, F this, I'm taking over. And nobody's stopping me. And his drive and his determination to be great is what we saw last night. And if you're a Heat player, and I know Jimmy Butler has got to be smiling right now because he's watching these young guys around him grow to a level that none of us really know if they can get there. They can talk about it and we can say, hey, this guy can be a great player and all of that, but it's up to that player to want that, to desire that. And that's the beauty of watching Tyler, of watching Bam, of watching Duncan. They want to be great. Even Kendrick Nunn, I believe, wants to be great. He just hasn't found the consistency that the other three guys have right now. That's all. He's got to work on it, and I'm sure this offseason coming up, it'll be a short one, but I think they'll try to get there with him. Although I've got something on Nunn that I want to share later on. But to me, what Bam did, it was one of those things that it was a satisfying moment for his soul. And he didn't need to feel guilty, but he felt guilty. And so redemption was what he was desiring.
After the game, after Game 5, I put that on myself that my teammates would never have that type of performance from me again. And for those 24 hours, I was locked in, and my family know how I get when I play bad and especially we lose. I put that on my shoulders because I feel like I could have did something different. So tonight I did something different, came out with being extra aggressive, just locked in. And I made a promise to UD. Now, when y'all see UD, y'all ask them what that promise was. I can't tell you.
Did I make up a word by desiring, by the way? Anyway, I guess we're all dying to find out what that promise is, right? And it's so good to have a UD behind the scenes, kind of being the mentor, the leader, the security guard, I don't know, maybe even a little bit of the answer man for them, right? Because he's been through it all, and he can kind of walk them through every part of this experience and every other one that they've had over the last year. It's just so good to watch this franchise and the way they embrace their own players. And that's why culture stays around. Because it's like, well, you can watch Zoe's walking around and Keith Haskins is walking around and UD is walking around and, it's all of that stuff. And you see constantly the people that were a part of this organization. You know what I mean? And they're there. And they were part of establishing this culture or maintaining the culture. In the case of UD and Zoe, obviously those are the guys that help establish that culture here with the Miami Heat. And Bam fits it perfectly. And that's why when you see everything's about fit, right? And Jimmy Butler was a guy that did not fit eventually in Chicago with some of the young guys there. Did not fit with Minnesota. And then in Philadelphia, they chose to give Tobias Harris the money and not him. And again, you're wondering what the hell's going on. I even wondered myself when he signed here, did he want to be just a number one guy? Was that the whole deal? Did he have a hard-on of, all right, no, I got to be the number one guy. I got to get the ball. I got to score, all of that. I wondered that myself when they signed Jimmy. Was it that? And then I'm wondering, is he going to even be able to lure somebody because of everything that's happened in Philadelphia and Minnesota and Chicago? And while it's too early to tell because he hasn't had the following offseason, which is coming up, and would they acquire somebody else? But when you hear Bam talk about him, right, you see why this team has responded, and you see why Jimmy has actually found a home.
I couldn't have an opinion about him because I didn't know. And I'll never judge a man, by his antics and what he does, until I get to formally meet him and just talk to him, have dinner. And, Jimmy came into this team, he wanted to get in where he fit in. It wasn't, we knew he was our max player, but he didn't come in like, this is my show, this is how I'm going to do it, this is my way or the highway. He came in, bought into the system, and he didn't care who scored. You got to think about that. A lot of max players, if they don't have the ball, they upset, they mad, and I appreciate Jimmy because at the end of the day we feed off each other. He was letting me loose in the fourth. So that's my piece on that. He's a great dude off the court. Coffee too damn expensive, but other than that, that's my man, $100,000.
Now, here's the thing: when you look at what they've done, okay, and what Jimmy's doing overall, I got to tell you something. With Jimmy, he is, like Bam talked about, he's allowing the others to grow. And you look at what's going on with the Dolphins and why Fitzpatrick, sure, you want to give Tua some time to get healthy, the line to get better, the team to get better, so you throw him in there and he doesn't take a beating like Joe Burrow's taking a beating in Cincinnati week after week. He's taking hits after hits. I saw the Chargers kid also take a brutal hit where he was holding his wrist. He was all right. He came back, but these are two big guys. You know what I mean? But with Fitz, you're watching the development of several players, and that's because you have a quarterback that's helping those guys develop, and it's really important because as you make Gesicki a better player, by the time Tua plays, he's not playing with an inexperienced Gesicki. He's now playing with a guy that knows what the hell he's doing. He's not playing with a Devontae Parker that hasn't broken through. No, Devontae's already broken through, and he says, I'm here to dog. I'm here to burn everybody that stands in front of me. And he's developing Preston Williams, and he's developing Isaiah Ford. And all of these guys, and Myles Gaskin is now developing. So all of these players, by the time Tua plays, instead of Tua playing with a whole bunch of other guys that are inexperienced or in Parker's case hasn't broken through or whatever, no, now he's playing with, and it makes him better. And so Jimmy understood that these young guys need to develop, and I've got to push them to get there, and they're willing to be pushed. In Chicago, what this NBA Finals for Jimmy Butler does is it solidifies and it justifies everything that happened in the past, and it makes him look good, and it makes the Chicago Bulls look like clowns, which they are. We all know that. It makes the Minnesota Timberwolves look like clowns, which they've been clowns forever. And it makes the Philadelphia 76ers, who have a center who's only worried about his gifts and I'm so sad. No, you should be sad that they bounced your ass out of the playoffs. Not sad that they're not using gifts to describe you. When you're not even playing anyways, there's nothing to describe. But you have all that buffoonery going on. And so that organization is also a clown show, and they didn't realize the value of leadership. And let me ask you something. Do you think you can slack around Alonzo Mourning? Huh? You think you were going to, coast? You think you were going to just get by under Zoe, under Keith Askins, under James Posey? I'm just wondering. Under Dan Marley? You see what I'm saying? These were all character players. And that's part of culture. But Riley in those days would acquire the veterans already made because he knew, okay, this guy's wired our way, that guy's wired our way, we'll bring them on board, they'll join what we do. There are very few rookies in the mix. On the latter part of his run, the Wade thing happened and everything else, and so, life changed. And life has changed for the Heat now because they actually are developing more of their youth. Remember, they developed UD. Okay, they got UD from the scrap heap, and they made him lose like 80, 90 pounds, and all of a sudden, because they knew he had the Heat work ethic. Problem is they had to get it out of that person. And Jimmy now gets to just say a big F you to everybody else, and everybody else around the NBA that was, hey, is Jimmy the right fit? Is he going to blow up there? Is he going to be a disaster there? Are they going to clash? This and that. Now we all have to shut up about that. And everybody around the league that might have wrote something about Jimmy and all this is a bad look for Karl Anthony Towns. This is a terrible look for Wiggins. This is a terrible look for all the young players that were in Chicago. And this is a failure of the front office in Philadelphia. Because, to Embiid's credit, I think he wanted Butler there. And they didn't end up keeping Butler. Because maybe even Embiid knew that he needed kind of Butler's discipline and demands and things like that. And that flies here. Because our young guys are not soft. Bam and what's it called? Nunn and Hero and Duncan, they are wired like us old people. Okay? I'm sorry, millennials and Generation Zs. Some of you may have, some mental toughness to you, but there's a lot of you that don't. And in our era, it was a whole different ballgame. In our era, teachers could rip us, parents could rip us, your neighbor could rip you, and usually they were ripping you because you deserved it, and you knew you deserved it, and you took the rip, or you took the hits, or whatever, and they didn't linger. None of it. You forgot about it minutes later. You learned your lesson. You moved on. You didn't get small about it. You didn't get sensitive about it. You got tough about it. That's kind of the way we were brought up. You can't bring up kids that way anymore. It's a whole different psychological way that you got to handle kids nowadays. They just don't react the same way. So Jimmy Butler is old school. And like I said, a lot of these young guys, they don't respond to old school ways. Those of you that are parents, you know what I'm talking about, right? Those of you that are, bosses, and you got to hire young people, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you that work with young people in your businesses, even though you're not bosses, you see them, they are wired differently, okay? Generation Zs and millennials are just wired differently. In some ways, they're wired better than us. And in other ways, well, they probably have some stuff that, I just think that what we did as parents, some of us as parents, we spoiled the crap out of our kids. And we weren't tough enough on them. That's kind of what I think is the end result of some of that going on. But not to go off on another tangent. But again, Jimmy fit this. And that was the difference there, and Bam knew it. Let me go on to Spo now. And Spo, talking a little bit about the meeting with Butler, when Riley and Butler met for the first time in their free agent meeting and trying to recruit. And right away they knew it was the perfect fit.
To be able to get somebody like Jimmy Butler It was one of the most amazing recruiting visits we've ever had. Last June, it was so conversational. You just felt like after 20 minutes that we were so aligned in how we viewed competition and work and culture, everything. We never even got into a pitch with him. We really just had dinner. We were talking shop, and he interrupted Pat and I probably after dinner, probably 5 minutes into just a conversation. He said, "Hey, by the way, I'm in." We're like, "What? We haven't even given you our pitch yet." He set the stage, to make this right about now. This team, it would be now, and you need to have somebody like Jimmy.
So right there, you see, they didn't even get, in their meeting, they never even got to the pitch. And because Jimmy felt the vibe already. And the only one that knew what Jimmy's agenda was about was Jimmy. The rest of us were trying to guess, is he trying to be a number one? Is he trying to just fit? How will he fit? Can he be coached? All of these things. And everything has worked out beautifully. And that's because Jimmy thinks like Alonzo Mourning. He thinks like Dwayne Wade. And when Dwayne and Jimmy played together in Chicago, that's when Dwayne knew it. And that's when Dwayne could tell Riley and Spo, "Yo, that's your guy. I know how you guys coach. I know what you guys demand. I know what you guys expect from your players. That guy fits." And you always knew Jimmy was the hard worker that fit the heat. It was everything else about him. And that's why you could look at Bam as the MVP. Yeah, Goran Dragic could be viewed as an MVP to this team, right? But Jimmy Butler definitely is the MVP because he has the tangibles and the intangibles that very few have on that team. And you need some straw to stir the drink. And that's Jimmy Butler. And that's why Butler and the Heat were a perfect fit. And Spo knew exactly that he was a perfect piece to the puzzle.
So much of this league is just about alignment. Who cares what you believe in? Who cares what your culture is? Can you get a group of people that are aligned in whatever that vision is? And you need your leaders to embody those qualities, whatever they may be. And Jimmy Butler embodies those qualities just like all the Heat players of our great past have done before. Alonzo Mourning, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Udonis Haslem. He just embodies these qualities of professionalism, of work, of accountability, being reliable, and he leads. He doesn't have to make any apologies for who he is. We love him for who he is and what he's all about. He impacts winning. I think everybody in the league that knows basketball has always known that he impacts winning. It's not about stats. It's not about anything else. He cares. And for us, that's our language. I don't even know what his stat line was tonight, but man, did he impact winning. And he set the tone, all season long. When we talk about how competitive our group is, we have a lot of guys. I had to actually calm things down at the beginning of the year. Everybody's like trying to beat each other into the gym. It's like, all right, that's getting ridiculous now. How early guys want to get in there and to work. But you want to run a practice, you're going to compete. Jimmy's going to make sure that that's going to go to a different level because he can't do anything without competing fiercely and doing whatever it takes to win.
He was plus 18 in the plus minus, and for the coach, if he's wondering what his stat line was, it was 22 points, 8 assists, 2 rebounds, and a steal. And yes, he affects it all. And again, you got to love the way it becomes a fit. And right now, if you're sitting like Sixers fans right now have got to be going, what the F are we doing, bro? I mean, that's the guy we should have had on our team. That's the guy we needed to kind of put some life into our guys, put some demand into our guys. And when you have, it's what Bam was saying, when a max player takes over, usually he wants the ball. And if he doesn't get his touches and his points and all that, he's bitching and complaining. That's not what Jimmy was about. Jimmy doesn't care if he scores 5 points or 50. He just cares about winning, and that's why he and the Heat are perfect. The Heat don't care about anything else but winning. That's why they've done a ton of winning. That's why every franchise in town admires the Heat, because they are light years ahead of everybody. The Dolphins, the Marlins, the Panthers, Inter Miami, everybody looks at the Heat and says, that's what we want to be. That's how we want to represent ourselves. And it's really hard to do it the way they do it, year in and year out. And you're not about, going and having 2 or 3 good seasons and then 4 or 5 bad seasons, and then another season that's good and another 2 or 3 that's bad. That's not this franchise. You've had very few. It's very Shula-like, where you have very few bad seasons in a 25, 30-year stretch. It's impressive. I'll tell you what's also impressive. Brad Stevens. Look, Brad Stevens is a hell of a coach. And Brad Stevens, in his press conference, handled everything with class, sent some serious messages to his players, to Danny Ainge in the front office, to the fans. But I've always admired him as a coach. When some people started putting him in front of Spo, that's where I would get a little pissed off, because I only put Pops in front of Spo. And just out of curiosity, has Popovich ever taken a team to the finals without a superstar? Because Spo just did. Spo's done something now that Pops hasn't. Right? Pops, all his championship runs were with Hall of Fame players leading the way. And it's still great, but I'm just saying, Spo's accomplishment this year is better than anything Pop's done as a coach, okay? Just a single season. He's never taken a team that young with no superstar, no Hall of Famer yet, because we can't say anybody's a Hall of Famer yet. Nobody's done that. I mean, I'm sorry. Pops has not done that. It's pretty impressive. Spo is the best coach in the NBA this year. That's not even up for discussion. All right? Not even up for discussion. 100 times better than Pops this year and everybody else. But anyway, outside of that, Brad Stevens is a hell of a coach. I like him a lot. And there's no doubt he can coach. He's one of the best. And what I love about him is I think he's a pretty damn good communicator. And he's pretty honest about what went on. And hear him now talk about the Heat and Bam Adebayo.
Well, I thought today, after we had the lead, Adebayo, and credit all of them, but Adebayo deciding he's just going to drive the ball, put us in a real bind with the shooters around him. And their physicality is something that I'm not sure that, we've probably talked about enough, but just they're strong, they're physical, they're tough, and him in particular dominated that fourth quarter. Even the plays where he didn't score, his presence was so impactful, and it put us in a real bind with, with the ability to guard him. The best thing we did, the best stretch of defense we had all night, maybe the only good stretch of defense, was when we were switching with Grant. But that got taken and exposed a little bit as well there towards the end of it. So Miami deserves a lot of credit. They're super physical, super tough, very, very savvy. And I think they're the best team in the East and deserve to be representing the East the way that they've played.
That's as classy as it gets right there by Brad Stevens. Okay? I mean, that right there, when you see him describe the Heat, describe their physicality, and in a way sending a message that his team did not meet that physicality, I thought was, extremely classy on his part, brutally honest too, and it's something that I think his players have to look in the mirror and say, what is Coach telling us? What do we need? And maybe that's why Marcus Smart was going crazy a couple of games back in the locker room, because he was watching his team not be tough enough. Because Marcus Smart, you could tell, is tough. He's got an edge to him. Brad Stevens, listen to Brad Stevens describe the Heat and listen to Brad Stevens describe his Celtics.
I thought we did a lot of tough things too, Gary. Like, I thought we were really, I thought our guys tried to play physical. I thought our guys tried to that, but I think that ultimately it's more of a credit to them. It's nothing against our guys at all. They gave it everything they had. And, again, I think Miami's been great. And we just, for whatever reason, and it was really a myriad of reasons. If you look at the 4 or 5 close games, we just couldn't solve them late.
That's right. And you see, that was Gary Washburn, by the way, that we've had on several times. And because he was kind of saying that, they were tough and we, in a way, we didn't match it. And that's where Gary was like, so you're saying your team's not tough? And he was saying, yeah, his team was tough, just wasn't tough enough. And they ran into a team that was tougher physically. They ran into a team that was tougher mentally. And then listen to him describe what he ran into in the Miami Heat.
I think they're really physical, really tough, really savvy. And they made great plays, and credit Miami for that. I think they're terrific, and I think we didn't play as well in those spots. But, I realize that, I think that they just deserve a lot of credit. It's super team, super coach. They're really good. They're going to be a handful.
That's praise, dude. That's praise. Much props to Brad Stevens there, giving him the love, giving the Heat and Spo and that team the love that they deserve, but at the same time, sending a signal to his players that they're not tough enough, that they're not mentally tough enough, that they're not physically tough enough, and that now you know how much more physical, how much more tougher you got to get to the finals. So I got to tell you, that was strong on Brad Stevens' part. I'm looking here on the chat board, which it's lit up, and no, I type. Bill doesn't do anything for me on the chat board, okay? Those of you asking, hey, is Bill typing for him? No, I'm the one that answers everything there. You think I'm going to allow Bill to answer somebody? I'll address why your statement is ridiculous? Then he would be putting me in a tough spot when I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But since I know what you're talking about, I'll tell you why you're ridiculous. What is it? Aronov? I'll tell you why your statement is absolutely stupid, insulting, ignorant, short-sighted. You don't get it, okay? But I get it. But I get it because you're a fan. You're thinking like a fan. This guy says, well, I don't care what Jimmy's doing here. There's no excuse for what he did to get out of Chicago and Minnesota. Let me ask you something. Have you ever worked in a shitty place? Have you? Have you? So are you going to stay working at a shitty place, or are you going to try to leave and go somewhere else? Explain that to me. Because let me give you a little experience here, since apparently you live in fantasy land. My last year at QAM, when the PD now, Weiner the Liar, took over, he immediately, I had one producer, and my producer had zero experience. He was in the business for a couple of months, couldn't book a guest if his life depended on it, okay? Great kid, can do production, all of that stuff. I needed a booking producer on my show. Every other show had 2 producers. Some shows had 2 and 3 hosts, okay? All right? They had shows on 790 that had 2 and 3 hosts, and combined, the 5 hosts did not produce more money than I did. Are you listening to me? All right? Because you're an idiot, and you need to be put in your place. All right? So I'm producing more money than 5 hosts combined, basically. Listen, on 790 and 560, only Joe Rose produced more money than me. Joe's a cash cow. All right? He's a freaking stud. Outside of that, I produce more than everybody else on both stations. You got that? So when I go to the program director, and everybody else pretty much has 2 producers, I have one with no experience at that time, and I say, hey, I need a booking producer. You know what that idiot told me? It's not in the budget. I go, what do you mean it's not in the budget? And right away I went after Len, and I said, yo, man, you got shows with 2 and 3 hosts on 790, and I produce more money than all of them combined. Because I knew right there and then my contract was going to be, the option to pick up my 3rd year was going to be up in January. Okay? This is 11 months prior. We're in February. When he told me that, I knew right away my option wasn't going to be renewed. I knew he was going to wait 11 months to fire me because they didn't want to have to pay me 11 months. Right? They'd rather only pay me 30 days because that's what normally in broadcast, they have a 6-month no-compete. Screw you. I never signed that 6-month deal. I stopped signing that 6-month deal 20 years ago. I told them, oh, you want 6 months? You got to give me 6 months guaranteed salary. Cheap bastards in radio never do that. So I go, whatever you want to give me guaranteed is what the no-compete will be. If not, I'm not signing the contract. So it became 1 month. That way I'm free in a month. And I can sign wherever the hell I want and do whatever I want. Okay? I made sure that Len Weiner in those next 11 months knew that I wanted to get the hell out too. Okay? And I was dying. When he fired me, I looked at him in the face and I said, I knew this was coming 11 months ago, my brother. Thank you very much. I am now a happy camper. I wanted out. And then I go to a place that has no money, owner's a liar, everything, and I got to leave that place too. It's just the way it is, dude. So if you've never been somewhere where you don't want to be, then you don't know what the hell it is. Then don't comment on it, whatever, what is it, Arnav? Why should any employee stay where they're not wanted? Have you heard Jimmy Butler talk? How many times have you heard him say, I just want somebody that wanted me? That's the way it goes. You want to work with people that want to work with you. Okay? Now, if people don't want to work with you, I can't do anything about it. But you got to move on. Now, maybe, Arnav, maybe you're the kind of employee that takes all the shit. Maybe you like to be stepped on all the time. Okay? Maybe you have no balls. It's probably what it is. Falta cojones. You know what I'm saying? So when I knew QAM wasn't going to renew me, you think I'm shaking in my boots? You think I'm worried about it? No, I'll get another job because I'm a hell of an employee. And I know I can do this job and run circles around most when it comes to talking sports. I'm not the best at buffoonery and clowning around and all that stuff. I'll joke around and all that. But when it comes to talking sports, I think very few in this town come close to what I can do. So I have more than enough confidence in my ability. But I guess, Arnav, you're not a guy that has confidence in your ability. Jimmy Butler had confidence in his ability. And if Chicago didn't fit, he went to Minnesota. And if it didn't fit, he then went to Philadelphia. And then it's not that he didn't leave Philadelphia. They chose to sign Tobias. They can only give the max to one guy because they already had 2 max guys. They could only give it to one guy, and they chose Tobias, the younger guy that they thought had more upside down the line. Problem is Tobias Harris doesn't have Jimmy Butler's cojones. Okay? And so, Arnav, like I just asked you right now, okay, how's Minnesota and Chicago doing? And then you say, oh, that doesn't matter. No, it does matter. They still suck, right? They're still a clown show. correct? The Sixers, they got eliminated from the playoffs, right? So were they better without Butler? Or should they have said, we're the ones that are wrong. We need to think like him. Because he comes to Miami, and let me ask you again, Aronov. What's a better franchise? Miami, Philadelphia, Minnesota, or Chicago? Chicago, Minnesota, and Philadelphia combined aren't even close to Miami. They're 3 garbage franchises. Philadelphia is nothing more than lucky because they consistently sucked, ended up at the top of the lottery, and ended up getting a couple of easy picks. But it's not because they're geniuses. If they were geniuses, they would have kept Jimmy Butler. Let me ask you something. How's QAM doing? Because they got one live show. Joe, that's it. They got no more live shows. They actually simulcast Hawk in the afternoon. He says it's a 790 show that they're now doing on QAM. So is QAM better now? Sure, Arnav. You keep living in fantasy. You know what you need to do, bro? Grow some cojones. All right? Grow some cojones. And don't take shit from people. That's my style. That's Jimmy Butler's style. Guess what? We're not for most. That's how it goes. I'm not for most. I don't want to work with people that lie, that deceive, that don't support. I'm done with that. That's why, and you know what? Here's the beauty of this. I've been in this business so long. It's 30 years now. You think 10 years ago I could have done a podcast? But that's the beauty now. The signal's dying because everything's digital. You go home, it's Amazon Prime, it's YouTube, it's Netflix, it's Hulu, right? Your music is iTunes and Pandora and Spotify and all that crap, right? And talk radio is dying because now people are going to the podcast instead. They find the people that they like, and that's what they download and they listen. It's a different world now. I don't need a stinking signal anymore. Oh, and by the way, I got jobs. I got jobs, bro. I leave QAM, I leave another crappy station, and then guess what I do after that? I'm working for Inter Miami now. I handle all their broadcast. We got a major project that's coming up now. I do my podcast, which has crossed 2 million downloads already, 2.1 now. And I'm working also for Dolphins Brawl. Oh, and by the way, I'm also under contract for Sirius. Don't have a lot of time to do Sirius, but I am under contract for Sirius. I got 4 jobs. I can be in the Jamaican skit on In Living Color. Yeah, man, I got 7 jobs. I'm on a 2-minute break to go for a double shift. All right? So you know why, Aronov? Porque yo tengo cojones. That's why. And I don't sit there like some people in the media when they lose their jobs and they say, oh, woe is me. That's not me, bro. That's not me. Ask that dude. He's been around me for 40 years. I don't give up. My drive is endless. So, Arnav, si quieres una clase de cojones, I'll teach you how to have some cojones. But when you don't have cojones, you can't do the things that Jimmy Butler does. Or you can't do the things I do. All right? So I hope we're clear enough on that one. I think I've wasted enough time on that. All right. Oh, I've done an hour straight already? Okay. Yeah, because you get that at 560. You get people talking for an hour straight.
Well, let's get technical and honest.
Yes?
We're 44 seconds short of an hour.
Okay. All right, 44 seconds. Remember, you can always reach out to us on the text line, and that's 786-322-1105, and that's for people that have cojones, not for Arnav. No cojones there. He likes to get stepped on. He does those kind of jobs. By the way, a quick little roll call here. The president, Alexa V, was number one. She was asking if I shaved. No, I did not shave. Does it look bad that I didn't shave? I thought it was like a thing nowadays that you can hang out with a day stubble, right? And the president doesn't like that I didn't shave. Okay, I'm saying. Let's see. Mark NorCal is in the house. Ian from Brooklyn. Julius 305. Dan Bros. Gus 1388. The Raging Dolphin Maniac. Brandon Flood. Troy Ortiz. What else? Manny J. Snow. FSU got destroyed. Oh, we'll get to that one. Ronald Hubbard, 90 miles from Cuba. My man Chad. Let's see. Miguel Garcia. Brandon Flood. Patton Asheville. Somebody warm up the back ghost. Oh, there's something going on? Is there an idiot on the line here? Bromar Smelly. Love it. Man of 1,005 holds chimes in with the first super chat. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, as always, chiming in on the super chat. Herman Cueva is in. Flipper 13. Is this the Krusty Krab? Primus sucks. I love it. All right. It is a cool shirt and a great band and just a phenomenal bassist. A phenomenal bassist. I'm dying to take this bastard to a Primus concert. Alex Opelia. Ryan Clark is an idiot. He said that the Pats and Bills beat the pants off of us. Dude, did you watch the freaking, remember, that's the problem. A lot of people don't watch the games. They don't watch all the games. They just run their mouths. That's why you've got that Colin Cowherd guy going, what, they've got Bam and Butler and nobody to shoot the ball. And you're like, huh? What? They got no shooters? They have more shooters than everybody else in the NBA. What are you talking about? And I've got a way to beat the Lakers. I'll tell you about that. George Vidal says Tua should have played series when the game was over, only to hand the ball off a couple times. George, what does Tua get handing off the ball? Well, what's he get, bro? What's he going to get? What? Does he get to call back to Hawaii and tell his parents, hey, I handed off the ball twice today? Really, think about that statement. What's it take, bro? Why? What's the big deal? Get him out there to hand it off a couple times. Go to my Twitter feed. Why don't you go look at the hit Joe Burrow took? He's taken many hits in the last several weeks. But that's what happens when you play with a bad young team. And you don't want that when Tua gets in there, you want the team to be a little better. And they're already getting there. Give it time, bro. Relax. Chill out. Mike Jamorazek is in. Let's see who else we have. Oh, man, there's so many here. You guys have what else do we have here on Julius 305 in the house? I don't know if I mentioned Ray is in the house. Power Foot says, love the not-so-old-time inside stories. You're a true grit guy. Thank you, Big O. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for supporting and listening and watching. Drew Boo is in. FSU Nelly Nell 305. Falta cojones. Yeah, exactly. That's it, baby. Don Parlamento. Rich V. Sergio Romero. Richard Rodriguez goes, only 4 jobs, you lazy bum. That's right. That's me. Willie Osborne, Miami Heat will upset the Lakers in 7. All right. I like it. Dean G is in. Dean G, are you the one I played this week in fantasy? Thank the Lord I won a game in Alexa's league. Bounce back 1-2. Needed that. I thought I was going to go winless or something. Tommy in Hialeah is in. Kamalain McCain is in the house. Did I pronounce it right? Clee Torres. Radically is in. Willie Osborne. Drone Spy. Just got into the chat, but what's the first drive by the Dolphins and the Miami Heat are just a bunch of dogs. Yes, they are, sir. Yes, they are. There you go. All right, so that's a little roll call. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Folks, don't forget our program is proudly brought to you by Toyota of Hollywood. And right now, you get down there, and if you're looking to buy or lease a vehicle, you got to trade in. Please make sure you mention my name. You will get an extra $1,000 off on your trade-in. Okay, so please get on down there, 1841 North State Road 7. Go see Herbie Lopez and all the great people out there. Steve Ostrov is running the show. Just amazing people, great sales staff out there. Go see the talented and lovely Lori Rodriguez. She'll take care of you. So many great people out there, man. Just make sure you tell them that I sent you. And if you have a trade-in, make sure you mention my name and say, hey, whatever they give you the number, then you say, hey, I get $1,000 extra because I know the Big O. And you will get it at Toyota of Hollywood. Hey, it's Big O for all of your family dental needs. Please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com. Go to the website. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231 or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O for all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs. You got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
righty. Clacking it. Yeah. Anybody got a clacker? You still got a clacker somewhere? Huh?
I got my Inter Miami car rental from our first playoff game. Back
Inter
in the
Miami?
day. Was it Inter?
Inter Miami?
Was it no international car rental? Who was it?
Yes.
Was it
right.
international car rental?
It was national car rental.
National? No, it wasn't international.
Wasn't?
I think it was international car rental.
I don't remember now.
With the Clackers.
I remember national.
For that very first playoff game against Chicago.
Yeah.
That we were in and we were out.
Right.
We did have a 20-something point lead.
Yeah.
In the third.
Yes.
And then Mike scored what?
Somebody happened.
58?
91 between the two.
Was it 91?
I'm pretty sure. If you look it up.
I thought it was 58 and 33, 30. Yeah, that's 91.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the number was 91. The two guys combined for 91. If not, if anything, I'm off by like a point.
I lost love for Mike that night because I can remember them in a timeout, and everybody, the team's on the side with the coach, and Michael's got his arm around the ref in the middle of the court talking about all the things that the Heat were doing to him.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. The final start on Wednesday. We went 2-1 against the number over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Because remember, we did a Saturday podcast for those of you that maybe checked it out. So we were 36-25-2 against the number after going 2-1. We took the Nuggets +5. I actually got it +6 the day before, but it went down to 5. So I went +5 anyways because I was going to go Nuggets anyway. And then I went with the over 215 also. They clearly went over 215, but unfortunately the Nuggets lost by more than 5. They lost by 10, 117-101, so we went 1-1. I told you take the Heat +3 against the Celtics, and they didn't need the 3 because they won 125-113, so we ended up winning. So we went 2-1 on Saturday and Sunday. So now we improved our number to 38-26-2. We are now 12 games over 500 against the number. Just having some fun. And in the NBA Finals, right now the Lakers are favored by 5. I'm taking the Heat, bro. I'm going to ride with the dog right now until the dog lets me down, and dogs never let me down. I'm going to ride with the Heat. So I'm going to go Heat +5. That's my selection in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Ray Grulong, or Grullong, he's coming in with a super chat. Howdy-o. I'm looking forward to Callaway to come out of suspension by Week 7. Great asset for our wide receiving core. Go Fins. Yeah, as long as he can actually keep his head, screwed on right, that would be an amazing addition for this team. I'm with you there. There's no doubt about it. And we'll get into Dolphins in Seattle. We got plenty of time to talk about that. I'm looking forward to that game. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, there's a lot of things that I want to talk about in this one, but one of the things that I want to talk about is how the Heat, I believe, can actually beat the Lakers, okay? And what I think will be really important. We know that the Lakers' size is going to be a problem for Miami. But Miami, if Miami's so good in the half court, and they're also so good at shooting that, to me, that's where all of this really ends up landing. Now, here's the part that I tell you that you're going to be a little nervous when I say this. They're going to need to count on Kendrick Nunn. Yeah. They're going to need to count on Derrick Jones Jr. I'm not telling you those two guys are going to win the series for you. Butler's going to win the series, and Bam's going to win the series, and Duncan's going to win the series, and Tyler Hero's going to win the series. But this is what I mean by it. The Lakers are not a good three-point shooting team, okay? They're going to try to 2 you to death. But Miami has to force them into a half-court offense by packing the box and not allowing LeBron to penetrate, a lot like what they did with Giannis. And they're going to have to guide LeBron in a way to force him to feed others, and the inconsistent shooters that they have will then have to make up for it and be streaky, be hot, or be themselves, and that's where Miami can win. And why I mention a guy like Kendrick Nunn, why I mention a guy like Derrick Jones Jr. and guys like that, it would help out if you add another shooter to the floor to spread everything out a little more. That I would love to see one of those guys get it going and help out. Derrick Jones could definitely help out on defense. Kelly Olynyk can also help out as a three-point shooter. He is a complete deficiency at defense. I mean, Kelly can't play defense, bro. I mean, he's going to get smoked at times on defense. But I almost feel like Miami has to use that three-point shot to their advantage. And if you notice in the last couple of games, even last night, when you looked at last night's game, the guys that did not play, Olynyk, Derrick Jones Jr., Kendrick Nunn, all coaches' decisions. You know what I mean? These are guys that Olynyk, I think you need to use a little bit, but he's going to hurt you a little defensively, but he might help you offensively. And I just think Nunn and Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones could help you in two ways. Obviously, his defense and his and three-point shooting would really help out a lot. He's become a better three-point shooter. The problem is, as you all know, it's hard. It's almost impossible to count on Kendrick Nunn right now. But he's been so streaky that maybe you hope that he finds some kind of a groove in this one. Because this is a team in the Lakers, they are a big team, and they've got a lot of height. And so you're going to have to deal with that adversity with them, and so you're going to have to defend all of that. But the beauty is that Kuzma is inconsistent as hell. Rondo is inconsistent. Caruso is a nice role player. I will admit he can play some defense. He's pretty smart. But, again, these are not guys that I am, J.R. Smith is on that bench. These aren't guys that I fear. I don't fear them that much. So Miami is going to have to spread the Lakers out in a half court, and they're going to have to bombard them because inside it's going to be – and let me tell you, the Bam breakout yesterday where Bam kind of said, I need to take over, that attitude, that's the perfect attitude for the Laker game because him and AD, I mean, that's going to be one of the key matchups there. And AD is going to go out to the three-point line, and the good thing is Bam has the athleticism to get to that line. You know what I mean? To get out there and cover him. It'll be, for Bam that likes to take on challenges and wants to become great, this will be another challenge for him and another opportunity to kind of put the nail in the coffin like, I have arrived. I am great. When you look at AD, you're going to also think of Bam Adebayo. You're going to say, some of the great big men in the game, AD, Bam Adebayo. And I think Bam wants that. And so that's where I think Miami has a chance in this game, spreading them out, making them a half-court offense. But at the same time, I think it would really help out if you get an extra shooter off that bench from either Nunn or Derrick Jones. Derrick Jones could really help out on the defensive side of the ball, especially on a guy like AD and a guy like LeBron, where not one-on-one, where he is the guy that comes to help. And he's the guy that comes up and swats something, what's it called, as a team defender, that kind of stuff. I think Jones can really help out. It'll be interesting to see how Spo designs this defense to try to slow LeBron down and try to slow Anthony Davis down because you're not going to stop neither one of those monsters. But you've got to find a way to slow them down. And then at the same time put more pressure on everybody else. Look at the game that they won the other night. It's 27 for AD. It's 38 for LeBron. The only other person that was in double figures was Caruso off the bench with 11. Everybody else was single digits. No, I'm sorry. Green also ended up getting 11 points. So you had a couple guys, but barely get there. There wasn't a lot of balance, you know? And you look at the Miami Heat team, and you see what happened last night, right? And here, let me see, because I don't have it memorized. But you had Adebayo with 32, Butler with 22, Dragic with 13, Duncan with 15, Hero with 19, Iguodala with 15. It's enormous. And let me tell you, Iguodala now, you've kind of been saving him. He's going to play a lot because he's the guy that can help slow down LeBron. Not stop, because nobody's going to stop LeBron. The guy's a Peterbilt truck. There's no way you can stop that kind of machine. That's what that guy is. He's the cyborg. But you got to find a way to slow it down. And you're going to need a guy like Iggy. You're going to need Jay Crowder. You're going to need some guys that are willing to sacrifice to slow things down for LeBron. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Miami's playing with house money. They're not supposed to win. They're not favored by anybody. Most people aren't going to pick them at all. It's a beautiful thing. Looking forward to it. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. Brandon says, don't laugh at me. Olynyk and Myers, weapons versus the Lakers. Yeah, big men that can stretch it out for sure. Yes. The problem is their deficiencies on defense. That's the problem there. You know what I'm saying? I like Olynyk. I think he's a good player. I think at times he can help you out, defensively as a team defender once in a blue moon. But a one-on-one and all that, no, he's done. He's done. He's just not that guy. He can't help you there. And Myers Leonard is not like a guy that I necessarily look at like a defensive stud either in the process. So we'll see, but it'll be a lot of fun. All right, defeats FSU 52-10, and I got to tell you, it was fun to watch. What is it, 4 in a row against FSU, which is great. You got this nice streak now against FSU. They had a streak against us for a while. Wasn't it like 7 years in a row or something ridiculous? So now you're a little bit more than halfway to maybe matching that, and let's beat that streak. And the recruiting, which is really what that game was more about. It was more about sending a message to Florida kids. Yo, you don't want to go to Florida. You don't want to Florida State, I'm sorry. They're a disaster over there. They can't coach. Some guy was like, well, Norville wasn't there. Give him a break. And I go, did you watch him under Willie Taggart, bro? Have you watched what's been going on there? I mean, FSU is a freaking clown show. Let me ask you something. Did they move the Clown University from Central Florida to the Seminoles? Is it there? Is that what they're doing? Is Doak Campbell now like a big tent to train clowns? Because that's what it is. I mean, they played like a high school football team. There was a kid on the sidelines, I forgot his name because I barely know this FSU team. And they showed him on the sidelines, and I took a picture of it. And I said, they play like a high school team, and they look like a high school team. I mean, it was embarrassing, bro. I'm a Canes fan. I was embarrassed for the Seminoles fans. I mean, Al Golden football wasn't this bad. Al Golden football was not as bad as what we've seen with FSU. And Al Golden football was bad. I mean, really bad. Okay? This was incompetence. This was players that aren't prepared, not coached well. Oh, man, if I'm an FSU fan, I'm almost at the point, like, not to stop rooting for them or not be, because you got to be a fan, you're a fan, But I'm almost at the point where if I was an FSU fan, why would I watch for the rest of the season? Like, I'm going to take a break from the team this year because clearly they're not going anywhere. They're not going to win a damn thing. Wow. I never thought you could see, even the way football has been the last few years, I never thought it was going to be this mediocre with Golden. And I know we had a little bit of hope with Rick, but it really kind of fizzled out. And obviously last year with Manny was a complete disaster. I never expected football to be this bad, and to see FSU football, stoop to a lower level than that. Wow. I never thought it could happen with those kind of universities, those programs, and the kind of talent that you're supposed to bring in and year out. Embarrassing. Now, De'Aaron King, he's a fun player to watch, man. Not a good quarterback, okay? He's not. He's an athlete with the ball in his hands. He'll make plays. He'll make some throws. He'll run, and he'll drive teams crazy. He's a heck of a playmaker, man. I like him a lot. I do. I like him. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't look at him like, Ken Dorsey or Jim Kelly or anything like that. But I do like him as a playmaker. And in today's college, I don't need to judge him by NFL standards. You know what I mean? But at the college level, this guy's a beast in the way he plays. Not the perfect passer, but it is what it is. Cam Harris with a couple touchdowns. The defense picked up 6 sacks, 3 interceptions in the game. They kicked ass. And the best part about it was recruiting. And now they get, 12 days now, 13 days to get prepared for Clemson. 13 days, actually, for Clemson, because it's Saturday, October 10th. So they've got 2 weeks, basically, or 13 days to get ready for Clemson. I like that. Plenty of time. Clemson plays against Virginia this week. They've defeated, so far, Wake Forest 37-13, the Citadel 49-0. So they really haven't played anybody, just like Miami hasn't played anybody, because really, we have to say that FSU's a nobody. You realize that, right? Let's be honest now, okay? Miami played a nobody in FSU. So now we have to see what they do against Clemson. It'll be a nice measuring stick for Miami, for the coaching staff, to see if they can beat Clemson or how far behind they are of Clemson overall as a football program. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm glad that they get 2 weeks off now. 3-0, 2-0 in the ACC. Hell of a win for and an even better win for recruiting. Seriously, what responsible parent, if you want your player or your son to become a better player, and if he does have the kind of talent to get to the NFL, why the hell would you allow him to play at FSU? At this moment, what would make you send your kid to FSU? Right? There's no way, if I had a kid that's 16, 17 right now and is getting scholarships from all over the place, and FSU's one of them, I would put that one through the shredder. I would run. That right there was a clown show, what we watched on Saturday. It was just roll the laughs, basically, is what we saw on Saturday. I was like irresponsible, bro. I was disgusting. Oh, King is not a good QB. What you smoking? Did I say he was a good QB? What did I just say? Did I just say he was an athlete with the ball in his hands, right?
That's what you said.
Okay. All right. Okay. I never said he was a good QB. You gotta clean your ears. Never said that. He's a heck of a playmaker. He's an athlete back there, not a passer. I don't need to see any more now about him. He's not going to get any better. That's what he is. But in this game, in college, you could get away with that, and you can win a lot of games with a guy like that. A national championship, your team has to be super dominant. You have to be Clemson, Alabama, to play with a kid like this. Okay? He's not good enough with this Canes team to win a national title. He needs the 86 Canes and the 87 Canes and the 89 Canes and the 2001 Canes, and the 91 Canes. I don't know if I mentioned those. Those are the Canes he needs. Okay? He doesn't have those right now. If he has a dominant one, he can do it. But he's not a QB. He's not a great QB. He's a playmaker. That's what he is. Never said that. Okay? Don't trust him as a passer. But in this, again, I don't have to measure him like in the NFL. Speaking of the NFL, I'll tell you this. I don't believe Ryan Tannehill will ever be a franchise quarterback. and he proves it to me all the time. You can believe any of the fluff stats he has with Tennessee. I still tell you that Lamar Jackson has got to show me that he can become a passer, not a great athlete with the ball in his hands. I'll tell you, I believe Kyler Murray can become a great passer because I see him and he looks like a real quarterback that happens to be an athlete, just like Russell Wilson, just like Steve Young. Josh Allen. I'm not telling you I am on his bandwagon yet and that I believe that he's a QB. But I got to tell you, I'm starting to see the characteristics that I never see from Tannehill. I saw a couple of them this weekend. He is playing with moxie. See, what I never see from Tannehill is when there's chaos, he's done. He's cooked. He'll throw it away. He'll make a bad pass. You know, I saw the game this weekend. He had a snap go past him that he wasn't paying attention, threw a bad interception. When the pocket breaks down and he's got to run for his life, if the play is designed and the play is a well-designed play and he's open, Tannehill can be a facilitator. That's what he is on his best day. I say it all the time. And with Tennessee, he gets an opportunity to be a facilitator a lot of times. But when there's chaos, he's never going to bail you out. I saw Josh Allen a couple of times, I want to say 3 times in that Bills game, where there were moments that he was about to get sacked, the play had broken down, and he found the open guy. And he was accurate. And let me tell you something. I have told you for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, I never see the guy that's inaccurate and then becomes accurate in the NFL. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. It hasn't happened yet. It just doesn't. Either you're a quarterback or you're an athlete with the ball in your hands. Cam Newton will never be a quarterback. Never. He will always be an athlete with the ball in his hands. That's who he is. He's not a quarterback. He's not a passer. Pat Mahomes is a passer. Derek Carr is a passer. Aaron Rodgers is a passer. Okay? Ryan is an athlete with the ball in his hands. So is Lamar Jackson. And that's the way I view Josh Allen. And I got to tell you something. When I saw him make those plays, I was like, that's growth right there. That's the kind of stuff that I always wanted 17 to be, and he could never be. And I was dying for him to prove me wrong because I have no problem saying I'm wrong, dude. Okay? But Josh Allen showed me some characteristics this weekend that I had not seen from him. And at times when he's done it in the past, it's just flashes. And flashes always happen with Lamar, with Tannehill, with Cam Newton, with those kind of guys because they're athletes, and athletes will wow you. But the quarterback is a guy that can pass the ball efficiently, effectively, on target, consistently. And Josh showed me a little bit of that this weekend. I got to say, I start seeing more of that. That's scary, bro. That's scary because then that means he doesn't have to rely on the run anymore. And he can actually beat you from the pocket. And I find that hard to believe. But he might be the guy that breaks the mold of something that I've talked about for years. The guy that wasn't accurate but actually became accurate in the NFL level. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I hope it doesn't happen because he's in the Bills and with the Dolphins. You know what I mean? So, but that dude's balling. He was balling yesterday. I got to give him. You got to give people love when they deserve it. You know what I mean? And if they're turning that corner, you got to address it. And you got to say, okay, this guy's not screwing around. All right, 786-322-1037. 1105 if you want to get in on the text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Herman says, Big O, I think we have a chance to get away with a win against the Seahawks, or it's just me being a fan. No, I believe that if they play well, if you get back Byron Jones this week, now you've got 3 corners out there. Russell Wilson is, throwing like 800 touchdowns in every game. Yes, I think they do have a shot. I really do. I don't think it's a given for sure that they'll lose. If they were in Seattle and they got to make the trip, I would probably say nah. But I think here they got a small shot at winning the game. They got to play a perfect game, but I don't think it's you being a blind-ass fan or anything like that. I think they got a small chance, but I think they can surprise them. Why not? Let's see. Diggs is a nice weapon for Allen. There's no doubt. But you can have all the nice weapons you want. I saw the guy rise above chaos. And those of you that have listened to me for a long time, that is, to me, the ultimate sign of a franchise quarterback, is the guy that can rise above chaos. You're not going to do it every time, but you need to do it several times. You need to do it when your team needs it. You need to come through in moments when the crap is hitting the fan and things are breaking down and an injury happened on the offensive line and there's a leak, but you're making up for it with quick decisions and accurate decisions and things like that. And you're buying time moving around in the pocket, not living off the run and then short passes that are easier to connect with. No. I saw a dude that showed me some moxie, man. So I gotta give the dude some love. He did play well, man. Pat says, my rule on great NFL QBs, show me 2 consecutive great years and maybe I'll start believing. I agree 1,000%. That's why I need to see the rest of the year with Josh Allen and not see that it was just a great athlete making some plays. Rozier, Perry, and Williams, the last 3 years were 53% passers combined. King right now is 67. Let that sink in. Yep. He does a nice job. He's not an accurate guy. Don't let the 67% fool you. He misses guys downfield and plays all the time. You know what I mean? That's kind of misleading too when you're throwing a lot of short passes. But there aren't a lot of difficult passes that he's connecting on. Clee Torres says, I'm embarrassed to be an FSU alumni. O is spot on with his analysis. I don't blame you, dude. I was embarrassed with Al Golden. I was embarrassed at the end of what's it called? Larry Coker. Yeah, man. Oh, you can be embarrassed. That doesn't mean you don't love your team. Doesn't mean you're not going to be rooting for them and all that, but you can be embarrassed. How many for the last 20 years before Chris Greer and Flores took over? Complete embarrassment of the Dolphins. The Dolphins are a disgusting embarrassment for 20 years. Still root for them, still watched every game, love them, but they were a flat-out embarrassment. Proud of Manny Diaz, who faced a lot of criticism and bounced back this year from an embarrassing record last year. Well, he's on his way. Hasn't completed it yet, but he's on his way. A couple years ago, Florida State beat the Hurricanes 41-14. There's so much sweeter redemption to beat FSU and trash them. That's what Rosendo says. Oh, King's best attribute is a leader. Clemson on notice. He's a leader, and he's a playmaker, bro. He's a playmaker. The kid has heart. Derek King will try to make a play however he can. And in college football, you can win a lot with that. Okay? He's just not a great passer. That's all. And it's pretty easy to see that he's not a great passer. This playoff run of the Heat reminds me in a few years of the 03 Marlins run. Hot at the time, right players coming into their own at the right time. No one thought they'd beat the Yankees. Richard, we had that segment 2 weeks ago. You can listen to it on the podcast. We talked exactly about that. I compared this Heat team to the 03 Marlins. The exact same comparison. So maybe that says something sad about you. You're thinking like me. You don't want to think like me. You want to change that thinking, sir. You definitely don't want to think like me. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you out there. Seattle struggles to defend the passes to running backs. Third and fourth wide receiver options, Gesicki, Gaskins, should have a big day against them. Breida could also be a problem for them. We'll see. We'll see. What I will not do is tell you Miami's going to lose flat out. That's bullcrap. This Dolphins team has got a chance against Seattle here at home. Hell yeah. I watched the Bills-Rams game yesterday, and I think the Finns could beat them with a little luck. They could have beat them last time, bro. The Bills, they gave the game away to the Bills, basically. Couple of terrible mistakes, and they win that game. I'm telling you that I'm the guy that at 0-2, while most of the media is writing, it's the same old Dolphins, this and that. What was I telling you guys throughout it's not the same Dolphins. Look at them. They've been really competitive. And I wasn't surprised that they won against the Jags at all. I picked them to win that game. And they're getting better and better. And people, I get it. It's 20 years. They won 5 games last year. People just say, okay, now they're the same old Dolphins. They're not the same old Dolphins, and people will find that out. As the year goes on, remember what happened last year, right? After 0-7, they went 5-4, and the respect for the Dolphins grew. Same thing's going to happen this year, except they're going to get better earlier. They already won their first game in Game 3, not Game 8. Okay? Hopefully by the time you get to Game 8, maybe you have a 500 record. You never know. You never know. I love what I'm seeing from the Dolphins. Let's see. J4 says, Big O, God bless you, brother. That's very nice of you. Thank you, my friend. Bless my boy Bill here. He's dealing with ear congestion. It's all stuffed up. I think it's got all kinds of bugs in there that are living in there. Let's see. What else do we have here? Longtime Dolphin fan, Francisco Verdugo. He says, first time in a long time that I see the O-line play well. Not our QB running for his life every time. That tells me they're going in the right direction. Yeah, the O-line's played well for 3 weeks in a row. Exactly, don't be like the Falcons fans that are quitting, LOL. Yeah, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me talk about this. First of all, I've been off of the Dan Quinn bandwagon for a couple of years now. I said you had to fire him a couple of years ago. And they kept him, and he never has changed as a head coach. Listen, a long time ago in football I learned, and I called it the Richie Pettibone disease. Now, back in the day, that insult flew because people knew who Richie Pettibone is. At that time, he was the guy that when Joe Gibbs retired, he was the longtime defensive coordinator of the team. And so he took over, right? And in the process, he sucked as a head coach. But yet he was a great defensive coordinator. Absolutely fantastic defensive coordinator. So I learned that from that moment on, there were guys that were built to be head coaches and guys that were built to be assistant coaches. And Dan Quinn has got the Richie Pettibone disease, the Wade Phillips disease. Wade Phillips, one of the greatest defensive minds ever, correct? Would you want him as your head coach, Bill?
No.
No. Not even if your life depended on it, right? That's how bad he is.
If he's your coach, you're in trouble.
You're screwed. Wade Phillips sucks as a head coach. Wade Phillips is a first ballot defensive coordinator Hall of Famer, in my eyes. Like, whenever he retires, I know he's retired right now, but he wants back in. Whenever he's gone for 5 years, I would induct him like right away. That's how good that guy is as a defensive coordinator. I don't want anything to do with him as a head coach. And Dan Quinn has proven the same thing. Same thing, dude. This Falcons team cannot be predicted. From one season to another, they follow up a good season with a crap season. They follow up good games with terrible games. And now they have a tendency under this guy to choke like dogs. I mean, they became, I don't know if you know this stat, they became the first team in NFL history to lose back-to-back games leading by 15 or more points in the fourth quarter. Let's not forget about what happened in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, where you lost, what was it, a 25-point lead? I mean, are you kidding me, dude? How has he not been fired already? I don't know. I haven't checked out the I would have fired his ass a couple of years ago, but like right now, I would have fired him right after the game. Dan, do me a favor, get another plane. I don't even know. Did they play in Atlanta or they played on the road? If they played on the road, I would do me a favor, get another plane. Here's a ticket for you. Get the hell out of my face. I don't even want to see you ever again. Let me see. No, I don't see any. Dan Quinn is fired. Like, how are you not firing his sorry ass? And if you're a Falcons fan at this point, oh my Lord. Falcons fans and Jets fans. I mean, they had the rally on Thursday or Friday to try to. You heard about the rally outside the Jets Park to fire Adam Gase last week?
Damn them Jets fans.
Yep.
Getting smart.
No. 4 of them showed up.
Excellent. Good job. Way to go, Jets fans.
That way the owner goes, oh, well, they obviously agree with me. Only 4 idiots showed up. So everybody else loves Adam Gase. But, I mean, seriously, being a Jets or a Falcons fan right now, wow, none of them are soaring. That's for sure. All right? Both grounded. Falcons have no wings. Jets have no engines. Those are 2 things that aren't soaring. They are just boring. They are terrible. And I hope it stays that way, at least in New York. I don't have anything against the Falcons and their fans or anything like that. You know what I mean? But Dan Quinn, that's disgusting, bro. Do you know what I would be doing to Dan Quinn on the air here? Do you know the rip jobs that I mean, Dale Talon at least had championships, and he had accomplished something great in Chicago, and I tore his ass 8 new holes since February of this year. And finally, they got on board, and they fired and, shit-canned his sorry ass and got rid of him. You know what I mean? It's a great move on their part. But I'm telling you, it's really amazing how they have kept this guy there. And if you're Arthur Blank, you are sending a terrible message to your fans. When you keep Joe Philbin around and extend him because he beat a Minnesota team that meant nothing, it sends a terrible message. When you keep Sperano around, bless the man, I know he passed away, but we're talking about the football coach, and he's celebrating field goals, you are sending a terrible message. When you keep Al Golden around because you're a cheap outfit and you don't want to lose money, you send a terrible message. Okay? And that's what Arthur Blank is constantly sending to the Falcons fans. He may not want to do this. He may not even realize that he's doing this. He may think he's not doing this. I don't know, for whatever reason, but he is doing it. And he's sending a terrible message by keeping him there, just like the Jets, just like the Johnsons are doing the same thing by keeping Adam Gase in place. These are irresponsible moves by professional teams, and it happens in all levels. And sometimes you have to make the tough decision, and that's where I actually give a ton of credit to the Panthers that, okay, Dale, you had your run in Chicago. It was great. But, dude, you can't even come close to it here. Get out. And good. They did it. Hank Goldberg's left nut chiming in on a super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. He says Bills and Pats will be top 5 AFC teams in the end. Not bad losses at all. Bet Fins over team total of 23.5. Seattle D will melt late in the 1 p.m. heat. Bank it. There you go. Hank? Can you rock? Can you rock to the rhythm that just don't stop? Can you hip-de-do? A shoe-be-do? Come on, baby. Make the people move. Yes. I said toot the hoses and ring the bells because I am the man with the clientele. All right. Thank you, Hank. Appreciate you. Oh, can't wait for Jets Talk Radio today. It's going to be so good. Just to hear them suffer. It's great. It is fun to watch them suffer. I got to admit, the Jets can lose for 100 years and I won't feel bad. I won't. That I can guarantee you. There won't be. I won't be shedding a tear whatsoever. Hey, listen, I forgot to mention. While the Falcons completely choked, Foles completely came through for your guys. How about that?
Yeah, but that's not a surprise. He's a streaky guy.
Yeah.
He get hot.
Yeah.
The guy could look like the greatest quarterback that ever lived.
Yep.
And then he'll look like the guy that couldn't quarterback a high school team.
But if you have Anthony Miller, you were happy that Foles got in there yesterday.
If Anthony Miller or Robinson, I have Robinson.
Right, well, Robinson, right, yes. Robinson had the game winner.
We got some guys.
Didn't Robinson have the game winner?
No.
No, it was Miller that had the game winner.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Robinson had 100 yards, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But supposedly Tariq Cohen, possibly torn ACL, possible. Not good.
No, I know. He's such a good little player.
Montgomery's got to show something, man.
Such a good little player, that guy, Tariq Cohen.
That three
guy's
and 0.
got a heart like his heart is bigger than most people in the NFL.
That 3-0 is like probably the biggest 3-0 aberration, fake, not real schedule.
I know, but you still got to play the games.
We're in it,
That's
but
right.
for how long? Reality.
Okay, but whatever you want, at least enjoy the win, bro. Take it, bro. Take it. I was happy for you yesterday. I saw it. I go,
hey, look, like I've told a few people, I'm more excited about the 1-2 Dolphins than I am about the 3-0 Bears because I know they're setting me up for heartache because this is the aberration.
All right. If you guys want to get in on the text line, you can also send in your questions there. We will answer them at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. You can reach out to us at Big O Show as we take you to, I have no idea what we'll take you to because you know how it is on this show. We roll the way we roll. Let's see, what do we have here? Mal from Virginia says, does anybody miss last year's defensive coordinator, Patrick? Good hands and good pad level Graham. Anybody, the Giants defense looks terrible. The Giants have got a ways to go. There's no doubt about it. I'm sorry, Mal. Sorry for you, my brother. If you could give your evaluations on Allen, Tannehill, and Herbert tomorrow, I'll be listening. I like what I see from Herbert. Didn't show me anything special in college. Maybe it was that Adam Gase-type offense with bubble screens every other play. Yes, he makes some nice throws. Still, I need to see a lot more from that kid. With Tannehill, he is what he is, bro. Nothing's changed with him. If you really watch the games. Now, if you want to just go by stats, then you'll think that like there's this big transition that's gone on. You got to really watch what's going on. He's not the difference maker, okay? It's the defense, it's the line, it's the running game. He's just a facilitator. And if you give him a clean enough place where he can facilitate, he'll be somewhat effective for you. But he's not going to be the difference maker ever, okay? Herbert has got talent to be a difference maker, but he's got a long ways to go to actually show that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Heat versus Lakers. It's going to be a battle. Can't wait to see them take out LBJ. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. I don't think you didn't put a name on there on the text line, but appreciate you. Raul Montoya says, "Saludos, Big O from El Paso, Texas. Go Fins and Heat." El Paso. I will never forget El Paso. So we stayed in El Paso. I think it was overnight. We might have stayed I think we might have stayed overnight, or we stayed in San Antonio. El Paso. Okay, so we get in the car. Oh, okay. This how the story goes. Now my wife flies from Miami to San Francisco. I'm working at Sports Byline USA, but I'm doing it in Spanish. Deportes Byline Americas. And so I leave and I'm going back to work. I'm going back to South Florida. I'm going to work for QAM for the first time. And on my way home, we took a 9-day vacation and visited all kinds of cities. We were in San Fran, and that night we saw U2 and Oasis. The next night we went to Los Angeles, hung out there for 2 nights, saw U2 and Rage Against the Machine. Then we went over to, it was Vegas. Then we went down to the Grand Canyon, right? We stayed overnight in the Grand Canyon. We took off, and we were going to go down to Houston, okay? But when we leave, I take a nap. We're in a 280ZX, okay? This is 1997. I'm in an 83 280ZX. It was my car, my favorite car of all time, by the way. Anyway, so we're in the car. I wanted to take a nap, so the wife drives. So we're driving, and we're going, when you leave the Grand Canyon and you're going through Zona, there are like trees and mountains and red rocks and all kinds of, colorful stuff and all that. So I don't know what happened to my wife, but all of a sudden she thought a stop sign was coming up, and she slams the brakes, bro. Okay? And I wake up, and it's, and we stop, right? And I look at her, and I go, and I'm kind of like dazed a little bit, and like, hey, what happened? She goes, oh, I thought I was going to hit the stop sign, but I didn't even get close. And the stop sign literally was like 150 feet away. Okay? We were like in the middle of the road, just stopped, right? And I don't know, she might have gotten startled or something. Then all of a sudden she starts to cry. And I look at her and I go, what are you crying? Relax. We're fine. Everything's good. You just stopped a little abruptly and no big deal. We move on. Let's go. No, I broke the car. And I go, what do you mean? I'm listening to the engine. It's on. It's fine. And if you know anything about a 280ZX, that thing doesn't die. All right? That and a Volkswagen Bug, those things can live on. You think cats have 9 lives? Those cars have 900 lives. Anyway, so I go, what are you talking about? She goes, no, look at the clutch. And the clutch is like this. The clutch doesn't work. So luckily, my dad was a trucker. I grew up with a dad that was a truck driver, sold trucks, all that, semis and all that. So as a kid, I already knew how to drive a semi. Okay? Literally, I'm not joking. 14, 15 years old, I could drive a semi with no problem. Easily, moving it around the parking lots, all that kind of stuff. My dad owned a trucking company, owned several trucks. So I knew how to drive, with a semi. And one of the things that they also teach you with big trucks like this is how to drive without a clutch. Okay? And that's something that I don't think they teach kids nowadays, even with how many are there a lot of shift cars left? No, right? Like, it's very few nowadays, right?
They're sports cars. That's
right,
it.
It's like a Porsche or something, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, like they probably make like 4 Vettes that are like a shift. Everything else is probably automatic. You know what I mean? But back in our day, obviously, you had a choice.
You wanted stick.
Yeah, you wanted stick. So I knew how to drive without a stick, right? So I put the wife on the side, and on the passenger seat, I got in the driver's seat, and I put the car in gear to start it. Okay, and I started it, boom, and I did the whole thing where I know how to shift with the, raising up the RPMs and bring it down. Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to bore you with all that crap. So I end up going to, I think we drove, I want to say like about another 400 miles without a clutch. And we get to San Antonio, and we pull into the Nissan dealership there. And I go to the parts department. I tell them my problem. They don't have the part. So they call a couple of other dealerships, and they find one in El Paso. So we go to El Paso, and by the time we got to El Paso, I think it was a total of like 900 miles I drove without a clutch. Okay? And El Paso, by the way, a really stinky place because there's like 5 billion cows right outside the city. And like you're driving for miles and it's just cattle. And can you imagine the smell of just crap? And that reminds me a lot of it. Anyway, so that's when I think of El Paso. We finally get to that Nissan dealership and they have the part. And it's a plastic piece that costs $24. And the rest of the trip was fine. Went everywhere else. Had a good time.
That's here when I was working for the Sandblast Company. Had a problem with the clutch, blah, blah, blah. Dually. Quad cab, Ford, pickup truck. Same thing. A plastic piece for the clutch. I'm like, bro, are you kidding me?
A $24 piece.
Come on, man.
$24 piece.
This is the piece that's going to be moved every time you shift, and we're going to make it plastic.
Yeah.
Come on.
And most people would not be able, they would have to call a tow truck or whatever. We were like in the middle.
It's like you said, you don't know how to manipulate the gas and cha-cha-cha.
The RPMs,
yep.
You don't know how to move it in and out. You're done. You know what I mean? But so every time I think of El Paso, I think of, I don't only think of Tim Hardaway. I think I remember they have Lee Trevino Drive. I remember the signs for that. Because remember Tim Hardaway went to Texas El Paso. The Texas two-step is what his move was. $24 piece, dude. $24 piece. That's crazy. Jesse, Minneapolis, love the rapper's delight. Yeah. What do you think? I don't have some rapping skills? Come on. No rapper can rap quite like I can. I'll take a muscle-bound man, put his face in the sand. What's wrong with you? Of course. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate you.
So the smell of manure.
Oh, like I've never seen more cattle in my life than in El Paso.
So they need to have the sign, like when you enter Florida, we're number one, because they talk about their manure and it being the best. We're number one in the number two business.
Wow. Anybody that's been in El Paso,
El Paso needs to have that sign.
You know what I'm talking about. If anybody's been in that area, you know what I'm talking about. Just as you drive out of the city, it's cattle for miles, bro. For miles, you're like, wow, how many damn cows do they have there, bro? And then obviously they're dropping bombs, and you smell it right on the highway, bro. Oh, most boring drive there is Texas, by the way. It's almost nearly 1,000 miles on I-10 from one stretch to another, and it is boring, desolate. The mountains are in the distance. Like you drive through Colorado and Arizona and California and all these other states. It's beautiful to drive through those states.
Tennessee,
yes.
is awesome.
Virginia. I've driven through a lot of states that are beautiful to drive in. Texas blows, dude. Oh. Wow, that is really, really bad stuff. 786-322-1105. Oh, we just did another hour? All right. I got to start breaking at the bottom of the hours here. What the hell am I doing talking for an hour straight, man? Didn't I just have a cold or something last week?
Yeah, you're at 56 minutes right now.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. If you want to get in, you can reach out on the text line 786. Get in. We'll talk a little Seattle Dolphins. That'll be a nice challenge for them. I got to talk a little bit about that. We got to talk about that. A basketball player that's really stupid. We got to talk about that. There's a lot of things to talk about. Let's take a break. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
America's premium sport compact sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. 2020 ILX, $199 a month, $199 at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moodyusdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231, or go to moodyusdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. My name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines. All righty. Let's switch gears here. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins. Coach Flo addressed the media today. Let's hear his comments, and we'll break them down like we always do. It is Seahawks week, baby. Let's see what he's got to say about the great Russell Wilson and company as they come to town on Sunday. Fire off, Bill.
First of all, great hat. Love that hat.
Congrats to Derek Jeter, Mike Hill, Don Mattingly. It's a great accomplishment by those guys. Same thing for the Heat. Great accomplishment. They played well last night. So congrats to those to both the Miami Heat and the Miami Marlins. So happy for them and supportive.
I wanted to ask you about Byron Jones. You get a chance to get him in doing rehab over the weekend, and how's he look?
He's looking. Byron's working extremely hard to try to get back as soon as he can. It's very important to him. So he's in here. He's working. He's making a lot of improvement. We'll see how this goes this week.
Guys, all right. Adam,
now, listen, let me tell you something. I think he's going to end up playing this week. I really do, because they didn't put him on the IR. So it's got to be where he's really close to coming back. But again, this is smart on his part, because the Seahawks don't know if he's going to play or not, and they've watched Noah for the last 2 weeks now, and that's what they have on tape now at this point. Remember, Byron ended up getting injured like right at the beginning of the game, so they don't really have a lot of tape. They got to go back to Dallas, but I mean, corners are corners. And they're island corners, those guys. It's not like they're playing a system. Now, there are times where they do play some zone, so then you will see the same kind of responsibilities that Noah would have. Byron would share the same ones if they're playing that same spot. So at least they can feed off of that. I'm saying Seattle in preparation. But if you're Flo, there's no reason for you to tell, oh, no, Byron's looking good. He's going to play this week. You don't have to tell him that. You can wait till game day and just say, no, he'll be a game-time decision. I would not be surprised if he goes that far to say game-time decision by the end of the week. Well, he's trying and this and that. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that down the stretch. But if you could get Byron back against this guy, they need it badly. That would be really, really cool if they can do that. Go ahead, Bill, please.
I wanted to ask you your thoughts on what you saw, not just yesterday, but the first 3 weeks out of Russell Wilson.
I mean, this is a spectacular player. I mean, this guy's it's tough to defend. He makes really good decisions. He can extend plays. He's accurate with the football. Pretty much knows what you're in from a coverage standpoint because he's seen a lot of exotic, defenses. He's one of the best players in the league. He's if not the best. So this will be an extremely challenging game for us. It's not just him. I mean, they've got receivers, they've got backs, they got good old line, they got tight ends. They play a really good defense. They play in the kicking game. They're well coached. They've played together for a long time. This is a be a tough challenge for us. So we've got to have a good week of preparation, and then we got to play well.
Josh.
Morning, Flo. Sorry we didn't raise our hands right away. I think we were tweeting about your hat and your congrats to the other Miami teams.
That's Matt. Matt's got the whole hand raising thing. To me, you guys just do that, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Not a good idea, Coach.
I wanted to. I guess we ask this every week, but the offensive line and just your thoughts overall on how they perform. And then also, if I could specifically hone in on Austin Jackson, it seems like he's really held it together these first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think they're coming together. Look, they work hard to all get on the same page. I mean, I think individually they're a hard working group, but collectively as a unit, they understand that communication is important. That playing as a unit is very important. I think Steve's done a really good job. And just staying on top of them about the fundamentals, the techniques, working with one another. They spend a lot of time together. That's what you need. There's still a lot of improvement to make. It hasn't been all perfect, but I think as a group, we got leadership from the more veteran guys, Jesse, Ted Karras, Eric, and then our young players from Robert Hunt, Austin Jackson, and Solomon. They're just following their lead, which I feel like we're talking about that every week. But if we just continue to do that, I think we have a chance to get better, improve. Specific to Austin, I know you asked about him, Josh. I think being a rookie, there's things that he's learning every time he goes out there. Every different situation, whether it's third down, in a 5-man protection, whether it's goal line and what that, how different that snap is than, a normal snap in the field, and how big, strong, and this isn't just specific to Austin, but all those rookies, how big, strong, fast the defensive linemen in this league are. I think he's getting acclimated to that, but every week it's a different challenge, and this week, it's certainly a big challenge against this group that we're going to see, and this team that we're going to see. But I think if we just continue to try to improve every day, and hopefully we continue to get better.
Adam?
I think you're froze a little bit, Adam.
All right, we'll go to Steve Wine.
Today's media.
Good morning, Coach. How would you describe Mike
Internet.
Gesicki's development in the time that you've been here? And what do you see as far as yet untapped potential for him and the way you might use him?
Mike, I think Mike's definitely, we've seen a lot of improvement, from him since I've been here and really since his rookie year. And I think that's just, time spent in the league, understanding different defenses, understanding how different, leverages of defenders, understanding coverages. He's got obviously a good rapport with Fitz, and you're starting to see some of he's talented. When you put all of it together, you can see kind of the talent show up on game day. He's still got a long way to go as far as, there's things in his game that he can improve on. Top of the route, releases, things of that nature, blocking. But he's definitely made a lot of improvement. He's made plays for us this season so far. But there's still a lot, he's left a few plays out there also. And I think it's, the tight end room with Durham and, Adam. It's a good group. They work well together. I think they complement each other well. Chandler Cox is also full back tight end. They complement each other well. I think they're making some improvements. But again, consistency is a big thing in this league. And that's what we need. And I think you build consistency through practice and walkthroughs and, continuing to work the way that they work to have the little bit of success they've had so far. Again, as an overall team, we got a long way to go. And look, we got a great challenge this week against a really good team, and we're going to have to, really prepare and play well to give ourselves a chance to win.
One of the things that I love about a great coach, I think one of the things you should love about a parent, about yourself, about all of us, is you should always push yourself and never be satisfied with what you're doing. Because you go wash your car, and then later on you finished your car, you looked at it, you okay, I did a pretty good job. Then you go in, you go shower, this and that. You walk back out again, you're about to go in your car, and you notice you missed a spot. And that's because it's really hard to be perfect in anything in life. And there's always room for improvement. And when you watch Jimmy Butler in the press conference last night, he was like, we still haven't played our best basketball. And he knows that he has to tell his team, his young team, that the young guys at least, because you don't have to tell that to Jay Crowder and Iguodala and those kind of guys. They already know that they've got to take it to another level. But those young guys might be happy with their accomplishment to the Eastern Conference. They might be happy just beating the Pacers. They might be just happy, beating Milwaukee. Every time you saw that, they always said, we're not done yet. We got to go. We got to finish. And I love how this coach is never satisfied. I love how this coach pushes his players while praising them. And that is so important because Gesicki has the talent to become even better than what we're seeing now. So you keep them focused, you praise them for their success, but you also keep them focused on their current mistakes because we all make them and we all have ways of improving stuff. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, it started raining in Philadelphia for the Inter-Philadelphia game. And we didn't know if there was any lightning because we're not in Philadelphia. So we didn't know if we were going to have a delay or not. Thank the Lord we didn't. Game went on, all that, rain, whatever. They played through the rain because there was no lightning. So last time when we had a lightning delay, we had done our pregame show, and then we went into the delay part of the show until we handed it off to the play-by-play and color guys. And I told them, hey, this is how we're going to do it better. If we have a delay already going into the game, we'll come in, we'll open the show, and we'll send it right to the delay material. And then we'll come back from the delay material when we know there's 20, 30 minutes out, and we'll do the pregame show officially to lead right into the guys. That way, it's not us, then 2 hours of rain delay, and then the guys, and then there's separation, right? Because there's always better ways to do things. I didn't like, when I was done, again, like the car, I washed my car, I went in, took a shower, this and that, then I went out to go out, and I noticed I missed a spot that I didn't notice before. Well, that's the same thing. We did the rain delay, we got through it, and then when I was done, I noticed I didn't do it right. There's another way of doing it. There's always a better way of doing anything that you're doing. And being satisfied with any kind of success is a way of allowing you to stay in one place and never grow as a person, as a businessman, as an individual, as anything. So you got to always keep pushing yourself no matter what you do. That's what I like about that coach. Go ahead.
To win.
Joe Shad.
Flo, what are some of the things that first year defensive coach Josh Boyer and some of the new defensive coaches need to do to reach their full potential as a staff? Obviously, we're very early in the season.
Yeah, I think it's similar to what we're looking for within the team. Getting games under our belt, the communication in game, the communication in practice, the communication post game. I mean, all those things, we're working through. And look, I think we've got a good young staff, and I'm excited about each one of these guys. Whether it's, obviously Josh, but Campanelli and, Gerald Alexander and Austin Clark and Hobby. And it's a good group. They work well together. And I think hopefully we grow over the course of the season like you want your team to grow over the course of the season, offensively, defensively, and in a kicking game. So I'm happy with those guys. And, hopefully we just continue to get better and improve as a unit because that's what we're asking the players to do.
Safin.
Hey, Coach, good morning. Defensively, what do you tell your players about Russell Wilson's scramble ability and how to try to contain him as much as you can when he's out there on the field?
Well, I mean, tell me he's a great player. And we have to do everything at a high level to limit this offense. So from a communication standpoint, from a tackling standpoint, from a pass rush standpoint, we have to play very well to keep this offense limited and contained. I think, they're gonna make some plays. I mean, they're good. They got a good quarterback and they got good players, so they're gonna make a few plays. And we just need to try to keep we got to continue to try to just, have good communication, have good technique and fundamentals, tackle well, defend the deep part of the field. We get a good rush, and we got to play well. I mean, it's a good offense. It's a good team, led by Russell Wilson, led by Pete Carroll. So it'll be definitely a big challenge.
How?
Enormous challenge.
Hi, Brian. I wanted to ask you about consistency on the roster. Obviously, last year, it seemed like you had a lot of challenges as a head coach with so many changes on the roster. And this year, how comforting must it be to have that stability that you're enjoying right now?
I mean, it's always good to be working with a group of guys consistently. So you can build, the continuity, some continuity. I think the guys, they work extremely hard to try to build that continuity, that camaraderie. But this league, things happen within the league, and, 1 week's different from the other. So, as of, right now, as we sit, we haven't made a lot of moves. That could, very easily change next week. Hopefully you didn't just jinx us, Hal. But, yeah, I mean, it's you want to build continuity and consistency. It's, I think the easiest way to do that is to have the same guys kind of doing the same things, seeing the same, or having this, the communication with the same guys, so that eventually you get to the point where you pretty much know what the guy next to you is going to say, and eventually you get to the point where you don't have to say anything. That takes time, obviously, but it's time on the job with the same guys. So hopefully we can continue, working with the same players in the same positions. But again, this league is, as we've seen, things change on rosters week to week. So we've got to be able to adjust and be flexible also.
All right, we have time for two more. We'll go to Omar.
Wonderful. I want to ask you, how do you feel that Bobby McCain's adjustment to safety, I know it's the second year playing the position, is going, and how important is he to helping the communication back there in the defense?
I think Bobby's a very important part to our defense. I think, safety, linebacker, but specifically safety, you're the quarterback of the defense. So a lot of what he does is getting guys lined up pre-snap so that we can have, a good, let's call it post-snap play. I think he's done a good job of that. I think in some instances we've been aligned correctly. We've been in the right places, but, we either haven't made the play or had a bad post-snap read but Bobby's he's played well so far this year. And, his leadership, his communication, I think he's tackled well thus far. So I think he's played well, and we need him to continue to play well. We need other guys to kind of play the way he's been playing, and his leadership, it shows up on our team. And I've been very pleased with him.
All right, final question, Safid.
Coach, last season it took 8 weeks for you guys to get your first win. This season, 3 weeks in. What can that do for your psyche as a coach, your assistants, and your players to have a win under their belts this early in the season?
And it's always good to win. No one likes losing. But obviously winning builds confidence. And again, the guys have worked extremely hard, so it's always nice to get a win, so that all that hard work, it's for a reason. But it's for a reason whether you win or lose. And I think guys need to understand that there's a maturity that comes with. There's a maturity you have to understand that that continued the way you work and the way you prepare. Eventually you'll see results from it, and that's the kind of the message that we as a staff try to give to the players. And I think they take it to heart and they understand it. And I think we've seen improvement over the first 3 weeks, and hopefully we continue to improve. And again, hopefully we're a better team down the road, or a week from now, or 2 weeks from now, or 10 weeks from now than we are right now. So that's always the message. But yes, winning builds confidence, and it just reinforces, a lot of the things that we're already saying as coaches, that if you tackle well, you block well, you defeat blocks, you break tackles, you hit explosive plays, you limit explosive plays, you play well in the kicking game, kick coverage, you block on kickoff return, or punt return, and we can create, first downs in that area as well. It just, when you talk about it and then you watch it happen in the game, it just reinforces a lot of the things you're saying, and it builds confidence. So it's always good to win. And, again, we got a tough challenge this week. Against a very good team. So we're gonna have to really play well, really prepare well, to give ourselves a chance.
There you go. That's the head coach. And I don't think there's a lot of stuff there to break down that is, it's kind of all, how shall I say, a company line pretty much is what you got there. A lot of the obvious stuff there from Coach Flo. Now, let me give you a subject that continues, which I get it. It's going to continue because we haven't recovered from Marino and the Tua talk. Did you see the video I posted? Did you see the shot that Joe Burrow took? Did you see that video?
No, but I watched the game. I watched a lot of the game, and I saw him getting hit.
All right, so you didn't even bother to check the tweet I sent you. Okay.
I probably did, yes, and
Anyway.
I don't remember seeing it. I was watching the games, man.
Anyway, I'm trying to,
Sorry, bro.
I try to set him up as a producer. Hey, here's material so you can look at. Anyway, so Joe Burrow got his clock rocked badly. Now, remember, Joe Burrow is much bigger than Tua. He has been sacked 14 times in 3 games. Those of you out there that are dying to play Tua, I don't understand you at all. The Dolphins are playing just fine right now without him. And, some guy said to me on Twitter, hey, well, the Dolphin offensive line is playing better than the Bengals line. Yeah, but maybe it's because the quarterback is helping that offensive line play better, because that quarterback is making quick decisions. And do you think Tua can go do the running around that Fitz does and take on hits and all that? No, I don't want that for Tua. Fitz can play, on the seat of his pants and on the edge of his seat and go out there and play like a maniac because, this is his last shot at it. So let him have fun and let him go do it and let him do whatever it takes to win. God bless you. But that's not how I want Tua playing. I want Tua playing like a smart quarterback. I don't want Tua like Garoppolo, who then takes on a blocker or a tackler and ends up blowing out his knee and then he misses the rest of last year. No. I want my guy playing smart. So do you think that the team would be better with Tua, or do you think they would be worse and players wouldn't be performing at the highest level? Because now you're putting the pressure of everything on Tua. I mean, Justin Herbert yesterday, what'd he throw? 1 touchdown? Right? That's what he threw, right? I think it was 1 touchdown. So after all of that, it's not like he's putting up these incredible numbers for the Chargers. And he took a beating, too, on top of all of that. And remember, they lost guys, too, to offensive line injuries like Pouncey, who is out for the year. Herbert threw 1 touchdown and 330 yards and an interception. Yes, he has some nice throws. I get all of that. But he did make his share of mistakes, too. And he's taken a beating. And they're 1-2. And he's only playing because Tyrod Taylor's injured and got his lung punctured. And the coach is the first guy to say, well, once we get Tyrod back, he's back in there. But they haven't been able to get him back. And so I get that you want Tua playing. I understand all of that. But I want Tua playing under proper conditions. I don't want him taking a beating at this point in time. And he will take more hits than Fitz. Because if you think he's going to read and decipher defenses faster than Fitz, you're out of your mind. He's a smart kid. He works hard, but he's never played at the NFL level. And I don't care who you are, you're going to struggle in this game. That's just the way it is. I get it. Marino did what he did. Those are freaks. Those are freaks. The athlete that plays quarterback, you can do stuff with that person because that will also kind of keep people off balance. Burrow yesterday threw for 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Solid game. But he took a pounding, bro. Philadelphia got 8 sacks yesterday. 8 sacks. Are you kidding me? You know how many times, if they got 8 sacks, how many times do you think they hit the quarterback, Bill?
Oh, you got to at least double that number more than likely?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't need that right now for Tua. I like the way the Dolphins are developing this football team, and they're taking their time in order to develop the players and to develop their future quarterback. I know this whole thing, oh, well, you don't learn anything on the sidelines. I get it. But it doesn't. So did it work out badly for Aaron Rodgers sitting on the sidelines? Did it work out badly for Donovan McNabb sitting out for a year? Did it work out badly that I think Marino sat for a couple of games? Was it like 5-6 games or something? And guys have sat for a season or 2 or 3, and most of them have benefited from that. Aaron Rodgers looked like he was completely ready after sitting that many years, and I don't want him to do that. I don't mind this 1 year with no off season. The kid's coming back from hip surgery. It hasn't even been a year yet. I don't mind him sitting, waiting, letting it heal even more, and let the team develop a little bit more, because I don't want him taking 8 sacks in a game. Let me ask you something. Those 8 sacks, do you believe those 8 sacks were on the offensive line? That means the quarterback is not going to read everything right. He's going to make bad decisions. He's going to end up holding on to the ball a little bit too much, and then he's going to take hits. I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't watch the game. I only watched highlights and portions of the game. But I would imagine, okay, that between 2 to 4 sacks are his fault. So that's an extra 2 or 4 times that he took a sack. I don't know how many other extra times that he took hits, too. Rookie quarterbacks go through one hell of a, christening in this league.
Maybe you need to explain that everybody on the field is moving twice as fast as he's used to seeing.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
And that's the problem.
Yes.
Everything is just whizzing by.
Everything's faster. And he will take way more hits than even Fitz is taking, because he's going to take longer to make decisions than Fitz. And that's not good.
Here, another thing. I'm sure the conversation is at another level in the pros. That nice, religious boy that he is, some of the things they're going to say to him might, make him cringe a little bit.
Yep. All right, let's take a quick break. It's the bottom of the hour. We'll do that for the first time. What do you want me to do? 3 straight hours of talk? Come on. So let's take a quick break here. We'll come back on the other side. If you want to get in, chime in on the chat board. A little super chat action. YouTube on our text line, 786-322-1105. On Twitter at Big O Show. You got any questions, any comments? Post them now. I will answer them next. Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction. Listen, I've been telling you about Eric for a long time now. Custom home builder for additions, home remodeling. We're not talking about a handyman. Maybe you want to redo that man cave. We're not going to a lot of live sporting events. So you want to improve that experience in your man cave? Call them 305-433-4843. Tell them that Big O sent you, and go to the Instagram page. You can see the before and after there. You'll be impressed. EJD_construction. Call them 305-433-4843 or go to the website ejdconstruction.com.
America's premium sports sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. TLX, $259 a month, $259 at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
We back. I went downstairs to get some water for Bill and stuff. And I want to, you guys are so amazing, supporting us every day, downloading the show, watching it, supporting our sponsors. Make sure that whenever you go to any of our sponsors, you tell them we sent you, please, because it's very, very, very important. Like if you go to Toyota of Hollywood, make sure you mention us. If you go to Craig's Inaccurate, make sure you mention us. And so Julius 305 has been so kind, man. He has sent us multiple gifts now. He sent me this safety tool. He sent us two now. I have one already that I use religiously now. Now it's like a habit. First, you have to learn that you have it in your keychain and kind of get used to it. But now every time I know that I got to go hit a text in an ATM or when I pay for credit cards or whatever, or the elevator, every week I have to hit the elevator up and down over at the stadium. This is what I use. I don't touch anything anymore, pretty much. This is what I use, and you can hook this to open doors, too, and everything that have handles. Obviously, doorknobs, no, but you know what I mean. So this little safety tool, so he got two more for us. Bill's got one. I've got this one. I'm going to give this one to my wife, Julius. Thank you very much. And then he sent us a couple of Miami Goons T-shirts, Miami Heat T-shirts, one for Bill, one for myself. And I appreciate that, Julius. That's super nice of you.
Thank you, man.
That is very, very nice.
We'll be sporting that at VSS on Wednesday.
Yeah, you know what? I have to wash mine so I can wear it then.
Are you wearing yours Wednesday?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Oh, no. You
No.
wear
No.
you
Hey,
wear Wednesday.
wait.
I just washed all my concert
Hold on. Me wearing a jersey. My jerseys.
Ray, I washed your Star Wars and the Captain Americas. I don't wear any new shirts. I have to first wash it before.
Look,
I just washed yours.
Wearing jerseys has been good. I'll wear my black Heat jersey. You can wear that shirt.
Okay.
Because it's been working. Whenever I wear a jersey, we win.
So, Julius, thank you again, man. I appreciate all of you out there for always looking out for us, man. It is too much. Like Doug E. Fresh, who just sent in a super chat. Thank you, Dougie. I said a hip, hop, the hibbity. My Pensacola peeps are all together today, trimming trees, fixing roofs, and faith healing. Who the hell knew MC Big O and DJ Sandlaster were in the house? There you go. We's in the house, baby. We's rocking. That's what it's all about. Big O, one thing that the Dolphins will certainly get better at over the season. What are they bad at, but can't improve much on? Ooh. What are they bad at that they can't improve much on? They can improve in the D-line. They can improve at linebacker. They have the talent there. They can improve at corner and safety. They've got talent there. They can improve on the O-line. They can improve at running back, tight end. And you know what? What I liked was that they used Durham Smythe in that Jacksonville game. The first pass was to Durham Smythe. And I love that because they were talking about how they've improved him in his receiving skills. So I'd love to have a second tight end that can also catch passes. Plus, defenses now say, well, Durham Smythe is lined up. Nah, he's a blocker. No, he's not. Look at him in Jacksonville. He caught that pass. I like how they plant things, and they're helping players improve. Where could they improve at? Where is it that they can improve? Wow, that's a great question, dude. Because I think they have talent everywhere that they can improve on. I don't think they really lack somewhere that, oh, no, they're screwed here. You know, they don't have enough receivers. They don't have enough running backs. No, they have them. I mean, Breida hasn't even been a big part yet, and they're going to add him to this mix too. Wow. That's a good one, man. I'm trying to think of something, an area where they can't improve on and they will struggle. Wow. I don't know if they've added talent everywhere that I think they have a chance to improve in every part of their team. I can't think. Now, D-line, D-ends. I don't think, if you want me to, okay, gun to head, as they say, you won't have an elite pass rusher. There's no elite pass rushers on this team. As I told you a couple days ago, they have rotational defensive ends. Okay? Guys that are going to get you 5, 6, 7 sacks, maybe 8 in a year, but they really don't have guys that are supposed to get 12, 13, 15 sacks. Elite guys. They don't have that. So that would be the only area that collectively they've got to do a consistent job of being creative and finding ways to get to the QB because they don't have an elite pass rusher. That's it. That's the only one that I can think of right now, my brother. That's a good question. I like it. You got me thinking about it, but it also tells you that the Dolphins have done a pretty good job, at least in my eyes, that I feel that they can improve in pretty much every area. I think it's pretty cool. I remember when you said, enjoy the cigar, Burrow, because the last thing you will want to be smoking in a while. Yes. Yeah, you're going to lose a lot there, bro. He's going to lose a ton. It's a bad organization. Ray says, cool, I do the same thing, I definitely watched them before. I have a nice Mandalorian one for you that I will drop off this week. Dude, you're too much, bro. Now he's going to get us Mandalorians. You guys spoil us, man. Thank you so much, man. Really. It's
We're, what is it, the 30th, I think? The day before Halloween is when the Mandalorian starts. So we're 2 months. We're 1 month and 2 days away.
Yes. So, Ray, thank you. I'll take it as my birthday present. Since Thursday, October 1st, is my birthday, will be a very young 54.
No, bro, turn 29 again.
I'm just mentally, I know I'm not 54 anyway, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? My body may feel 54, but I mentally don't act like it. I never will, by the way. I don't plan on it, okay? Ian from Brooklyn says, I like Gaskins, but I still think we could improve more with a shifty back. Oh, I mean, at the moment, you can't solve every problem, but I think Gaskin is already better than he was last year, and he's better than what we expected. How do we know he can't get better? And he is shifty. He is shifty, and he's got great balance. Of course, an elite back would be awesome. And that'll come down the line. Who knows? There are plenty of people helping us get better. That's for damn sure. Tackling needs to improve, yeah, but tackling's not a position. He talked about a position, but you're right. They got to get better there, Super Boom Shack, no doubt. I think their wide receiving core is too one-dimensional. They don't have a quick, sure-handed guy that can get lateral separation. Yes, they do. His name is Devontae Parker. What are you talking about, bro? He's got a hamstring issue. Okay? Devontae can get past you and blow the top off a defense. He's got that speed for a big guy. He's not slow. He's slow now because he's got a hamstring injury. And Preston is faster too, but he's coming back from a knee surgery. I disagree. I think they do have a guy. It's just Parker's got to get healthy. In a couple weeks, hopefully that hammy will be fine and he can take off. Francisco says, show fan, I'm from Sonora, Mexico. I would love to meet the rest of your crew. Mrs. O, well, go to Vegas. I'm sorry, go to Cleveland. Okay, go to Ohio for the draft, and you'll meet all of us. We'll be there. Okay? That's all. We're supposed to meet there for the draft week. And just in case, Francisco, if you're just tuning in, the Dolphin Nation, we will all meet for draft week in Cleveland. All right, we're gonna have a special spot for us to broadcast where Dolphins can join us. And on the Wednesday before the Thursday draft, We are all meeting at 1 o'clock at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, okay, about an hour away from Cleveland. And we're all going to meet there, and we're all going to surround the Shula bust, and we are going to sing the Dolphin fight song. And that is going to be a viral moment, and it's going to explode everywhere in the Dolphin Nation all over the world. So make sure, Francisco, you want to meet us. Unless you can come down here to South Florida and meet us on Wednesday at VSS West Pines, on Thursday or at Toyota of Hollywood, or at Hialeah Park, which will be there on Thursday, celebrating the birthday. We do double duty on our birthday. And then Friday, we'll be at Craig's Inn Acura. So if you want to come on out and join me, come on out and join me. Would love to see you. And thank you, Francisco, for watching, for downloading, subscribing. Please subscribe. Please give us the thumbs up while you're watching. Let's see. Dougie Fresh says, oh, I sure hope Gase stays with the Jets for the entire season. I hope he stays for 10 seasons. He goes, oh, I mean YouTube. Thank you. God bless you. Oh, you want me to put him on YouTube? Like who? Like my wife on YouTube? I don't know about that. My wife's a little busy. She's not really into this kind of stuff. Parker and Preston are both deep and comeback route guys, good quick slant guys off press. Neither are great at drag or out routes. And I think Parker can do anything that he wants, okay? Anything whatsoever. What else do we have here on the text line? I would love to go, my friend. Thank you. Francisco, you better come out to Cleveland for the draft. It's going to be a great moment. You know? Oh, you want to see Bill? Bill, you want to show yourself a second? Oh, he doesn't feel well today. He's got his earache and all that. Just, you know, well, wait till Wednesday. We'll show him off on Wednesday. Hopefully he'll feel better. He's got like his ear is like completely stuffed. It's like congested.
My ear's all impacted. I need to have it irrigated. I've been dealing with it all weekend. Not my equilibrium. I'm not good.
Yeah, he's not good. He's not good. But he's here, and he's grinding for you all. Doing it, and doing it every day. It's a beautiful thing. Listen, you know what also is beautiful, Dolphin fans? Beautiful is Bill O'Brien. Beautiful is the Houston Texans losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-21, dropping to 0-3. Yeah. Dolphins own the Texans' first and second round picks. That's awesome. I mean, how many? I don't even know how many 0-3 teams there are in the league. Let me just check to see right now. 0-3. I mean, I'm not going to worry about draft order at this point because we're only 3 weeks in to the damn season. But you got to figure there aren't a lot of 0-3 teams in the league, right?
Are these the leaders of the race for Lawrence?
Well, I mean, we're in the leader for Lawrence too because we own Houston's #1 pick. So that's what I'm saying. We have the Jets at 0-3. The Bengals are 0-2-1, so they moved ahead. The Texans 0-3. The Broncos are 0-3. The Giants are 0-3. The Vikings are 0-3. The Falcons are 0-3. So it's only a couple teams. It's not a lot. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams are 0-3, and Texans are one of them, and that is so awesome. I mean, think about this. If that trade ends up an incredibly high trade, and you already found Austin Jackson and replaced Laramie Tunsil, let me hear the bitches out there complaining about the Laramie Tunsil trade, because you know that you're out there. You know you did it. You said, no, you still shouldn't. You don't know how hard it'll be to find another left tackle. Have you heard? How's Austin Jackson doing in 3 weeks? Do you complain about him? Is he allowing a bunch of sacks?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. All right, so if they know.
There's nothing to complain about.
So the dude that drafted Tunsil also drafted Austin Jackson. The dude that drafted X Also drafted Noah. And Bobby McCain, too. Just saying. That's why I love the trade. Houston, you want to give us all that? And you want to take Kenny Stills? 3 receptions for 35 yards yesterday? Go ahead. Make my day. Make my year. Help my franchise become great again. Yes. You start to think about this. You already replaced Laramie Tunsil. Okay? I'm just wondering if I look up in the Texans scoreboard here, right? I'm just wondering how many sacks did they allow? 5. Have the Dolphins allowed 5 sacks in 3 games? I don't know. I got to look it up. Let me just have some fun here. Hold on a second. So they got 5 sacks against the Texans line this week, right? Let's see. What did the Jags get? Did the Jags get any sacks? They got 1. Okay. Let's have a little fun with this. All right.
I think we're giving up 4.
Okay. Yeah,
I think it's 4.
I think you're right. I think you're right. That's why I was kind of like, let's have fun with this. Now you're freezing up on my ass. Come on, bro. Let's go. All right, here we go. Week 2 for the Dolphins. Let me check here against the Bills. I think here's where they got 2. 3, actually. So they got 4. And then New England.
Oh, that's 5. New England was 1.
Yeah, New England was 1, I'm pretty sure.
And actually, you know what? One of the sacks the other night against Jacksonville.
5.
You should have.
So they've allowed in 3 weeks what the Texans allowed in 1 game.
If Fitz made a mistake, he should have got rid of the ball in the Jacksonville game, remember?
Yes. Right, he
shouldn't
have
have
thrown
been
out of bounds. It shouldn't have been
a sack.
That's right. That was on him. That's not on the line, actually. You're right about that. He had to throw it out of bounds because I thought about that right away. I was like, yo, Fitz, what are you doing, bro? You're out of the box. Throw it out of bounds. Why'd you take the sack? It was weird. Yeah, it wasn't a good move on his part. But again,
that guy gets a bonus for every sack, and Fitz is getting a kickback.
So any of your buddies that were whining and complaining about, this and that, you tell them, hey, yo, where's your whining and complaining now, dude? Because Austin Jackson already replaced Laramie Tunsil without a bong mask. And you've got now a 1st and a 2nd round pick for next year. A high one, too, apparently, because that's what it's starting to look like that. I mean, 0-3 teams usually don't make playoffs. 0-3 teams stay really, really bad. And remember, we talked about this, I think it was on Saturday or Friday, that they're interested in Antonio Brown. I mean, come on. That's awesome. That's fantastic. I hope they had Antonio Brown in that team because he'll start ripping the coach and ripping the owner and ripping his quarterback, who's a great quarterback, but he'll rip him anyway. He'll do something stupid. He'll create more chaos for that team. They'll lose even more. It's awesome. It's awesome. And okay, now, I want you to, because some of you out there, right, you're still not a believer of Chris Greer. So not only did he replace Laramie Tunsil with Austin Jackson like that, he still has 2 more picks he hits on one of those 2 picks and it becomes a great trade. He hits on the 3rd pick and he becomes a genius. But he already hit on the pick. Do you know why? Because Laramie Tunsil just got paid $100 million or whatever the hell they're paying him now, $30 million a year or whatever. You don't have to pay Austin Jackson for 5 years. 5 years. Cap friendly. 5 years. That's a GM that learns and knows the game. I'm not talking about the game of football. I'm talking about the game of the salary cap. Because this is a conversation that has now become a part of our world the last 20 years in sports. It's not just about the athletic decision. It's about the financial decision that you're also making. So now he delayed to pay a left tackle for 5 years now, instead of it taking space now. So he can actually build his team up with all these draft picks and that slew of draft picks that are coming next year. And in year 3, when you're loaded, you will have plenty of cap space to go acquire a veteran to put you over the top. Oh, hey, no, we need a linebacker. We need a guard. We need a safety. We need a corner. This guy got injured. We're missing this. We're missing that one piece. And then that's when they go out and get that one piece. And they can pay for it because they're not paying all these guys. Tua doesn't get paid for 5 years. Austin Jackson doesn't get paid for 5 years. Noah doesn't get paid for 5 years. It's awesome. It's awesome when somebody actually these are the things that I used to have a problem with Wanstead. I used to have a problem with Sperano, with Cam Cameron, with Joe Philbin, with Adam Gase. They did not understand salary cap. Okay, and not because I'm a genius or anything like that. It's just common sense stuff. And when you understand what the hell you're doing, you then, what he's trying to do is trying to take advantage of playing with a young quarterback and winning everything with a young quarterback before you have to pay him. Because if Noah is a hit and Austin Jackson's a hit, right? And so is Tua, and so is Solomon Kinley. And, dude, you got to pay all of them. You won't be able to. You will not be able to. You understand that, right? You will not be able to pay everybody. Preston Williams, you'll have to pay down the line if he continues in his progression. Mike Gesicki, you will have to pay now. In another year, you have to pay Mike Gesicki. Actually, this offseason, you have to pay Mike Gesicki. This is his third year. He only has 4. So this offseason now, Mike Gesicki gets a new contract. Okay? So when you start thinking about this Laramie Tunsil trade, if you had any Doll fans out there whining like little bitches about the Laramie Tunsil trade, just run this segment by them or just use the material and enlighten them, educate them. Okay? Texans are losing, they're not winning, and they're paying a boatload of money. Oh, and not only that, not only are they paying a boatload of money, Bill, they had to actually trade away their best player. I don't want that happening. Okay? If you're trying to win a championship, you keep your best players. Okay? So for those of you out there that are so worried about Laramie Tunsil, there you go. Who? Laramie who? I got nothing against the kid, but if Austin Jackson can replace him, which looks like he has, I'm good. I'm fine. I got no problem with that. I wonder how many sacks Laramie Tunsil has allowed compared to Austin Jackson. I wonder where I can find that. Be kind of interesting. Just saying. Just saying. 786-322-1105. Big O, what would you draft first, or who do you think Greer might be thinking? Dude, I mean, come on, bro. I'm not thinking that right now. I'm not worried about that right now. I haven't seen an entire football season in college. I got to see who's the best players available. I don't know where Miami is picking. I'm not playing that game, bro. That's stuff that's a waste of time. I love you, but no, I don't play that. That's just stuff that we're not getting anywhere with that. And plus, there's so many good things to talk about right now. I don't need to talk about a draft pick that I don't even know where it stands at this point. Texans trade of booty of picks for Tunsil made no sense unless they were going for the gold in 19 and 20. Trading one of the 2 best receivers in the league last offseason defeats entire theory. Well, that's why they're a bad franchise. That's why Bill O'Brien's a clown. Good point, O. Can't pay all of them. You can keep draft ammo stockpiled, and if you make smart trades, which they are doing, and you'll get compensatory picks for these good picks. That the ones you can't sign and they go and sign big contracts with somebody else, you're getting more and more compensatory picks. Yeah, baby. The reload. All that crap that the Patriots pull every year, and Baltimore and Seattle and any of these teams that draft well, then lose some players, and they continue to get more extra picks in the 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th rounds, and you're sitting there in your draft at home watching the draft and going, Damn, how come the Dolphins can't do this? Why is it the stinking Patriots always have 800 picks and we don't? Well, guess what? Guess what Chris Greer's doing now? Same thing. And if you hit on your picks, you'll continue a beautiful cycle. Yeah, you'll lose some, but you'll get compensatory. And if you know how to draft, you'll find a guy later on in the draft. Okay? If you know how to draft or if you know how to sign, you'll find a Myles Gaskin. You'll find a Preston Williams. You'll find a Nick Needham. You'll find people that will help you later on in the draft or undrafted. Yeah. That's how the game's played, baby. And we got guys now that sat on this poker table, and they're the ones with the poker faces. That's Flo. Flo and Greer have got the poker face. We had guys that were chumps, that were taken to school all the time by everybody else. That's the difference. So Texans, keep losing, baby. Keep losing. We love you. I'm a monster Texans fan this year. In a negative way, but I'm a monster Texans fan. That's going to be awesome. Can you imagine if they end up with the number 1 pick? I would take the Clemson kid for the hell of it. And then I'd just put up a bidding war. What do you want, Tua or Lawrence? Which one? Best deal, we deal one of them, keep the other. What do you think? You like that? Like that?
It worked for the Cowboys back in the day.
That's right. Although, you're not going to get a boatload of picks for Steve Walsh, but you will get,
right.
But you will get a boatload of picks for either guy here.
Either one, yeah, no doubt.
You know? So, yeah, that'll be funny. That'd be awesome if the Texans are the worst and Miami ends up with the number 1 pick in the draft in the first and second rounds. I tell you, I'm just loving everything that's gone on with the Dolphins. I can't say enough about it. I really can't. That's why I laugh at the people that want to spin it negative, and I try to talk some of you fans out there that are just hung up on everything that went on the last 20 years, and you think it's the same thing over, and it's not the same thing over. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening. It's our time now. We went through our rough spot for 20 years plus, and we're done. We now hit the good cycle now. And that's what's going to happen from here on out. It's just going to get better and better and better. It just doesn't happen overnight, especially when you've buried a franchise for 20 years. And now you're asking, Greer and Flo to turn over a franchise that's been terrible for 20 years. You can't do that, bro. And they were the smartest ones out of all of them, dating back to Jimmy. Jimmy got close to it. They did a real reset. They got rid of practically everything. That's how you do it. That's how you restart. That was awesome. Big O, do you think the Texans' first pick, ours in 2021, is in the first 10 spots? Hell's to the yeah. Yes. They've got injuries, inconsistency, and they'll start pointing fingers. I love it. I love it. Henrik says, we need to draft a pass rusher. I just talked about it a little while ago. They don't have an elite pass rusher. Elite pass rusher, top-end running back, a free safety that is just absolutely nasty.
Linebackers.
Linebacker.
We need some linebacker.
Definitely linebacker. They're in the second year. So, yeah, they need several things. Good thing is they got 400 picks. So I love it. This is our revenge for the Texans owning the Dolphins since their inception into the league. That's a good one, dude, because we used to lose to the Texans every stinking year. That is so good. Ian says, yes, Big O, and no bandwagon fans are allowed. I like it. Pat in Asheville says, I think of the villain Solomon Grundy whenever I hear Solomon Kinley's name. Both are absolute monsters. Kinley's really likable, huh? Big O, I think the Dolphins can live without Preston Williams. I don't know. He did catch a touchdown. First touchdown of the game went to him. I loved it. I thought that was genius on their part. The kid had a bad week last week, and they got his mindset right away, right on track, on a positive. Like, kid, whatever happened last week, forget about it. Here we go. We believe in you. Boom. And it's a lot of what Spo did with Duncan. Duncan was kind of shy, wasn't shooting, and it was like, dude, we believe in you. Go shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. And if you miss, shoot again. And if you miss, shoot again. And if you miss, shoot 4 more times. Keep shooting. And now the kid is special. It's part of it. That's what you do with Gesicki. You give him confidence, and you allow him to grow. Preston Williams is coming back from a knee injury, bro, and he's out there on the field. I think you're being incredibly unfair to Preston Williams. You should be grateful to Preston Williams that the kid in his second year is coming back from a knee injury, and he's showing you the toughness and the dedication that he's staying out there and rehabbing that knee on the field. When he knows he's not 100%, the defense knows he's not 100%, yet he's out there fighting and trying to get to 100% while trying to help you win games. I love Preston Williams more this year than I did last year because that's showing me character. Like I see with the Heat players, character, bro. What the Panther players don't have, the Dolphin players are showing me that. Everybody hated them from 0-7, laughing at them, saying they're a joke, they're tanking. And you know what they told the world? Screw you. We're out here to bust our asses. We're going to improve. We're getting better. And they never got fazed by any of that. Preston Williams is not getting fazed by his injury and his lack of experience because he's only a second-year player. And really, do we count him a second-year player? Or is it almost like the second half of his first year right now? Right? That's kind of what he's playing because he only played a half a season. I disagree with you. See, that's where you and I view things differently. And I have way more appreciation for Preston Williams because I know what he's fighting through at the highest level ever in football, and yet he's being as productive as possible. I disagree with you, man. I love what I see with the guy. What is your opinion on Trevor Lawrence as an NFL player? Do you think he will be as good? Yes, I do. Yes. He's stud material, bro. Yeah. There's no shoe-in. There's no certain thing out there that, for sure you're going to make it. Andrew Luck was pretty close. But I love Trevor Lawrence, bro. He is wired the kind of way that I like a player to be wired. He's a winner, man. I like him. He's a fighter. Yeah, big time. And he's strong, big kid. He's got some, a body on him, so he can take some punishment too. I like him a lot. Yeah, I'm a Trevor Lawrence guy, no doubt. If we get the first overall from the Texans, what's it worth? Lawrence, an open trade market, no trade to Pats. No, they won't trade in the division. You can forget about that. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they trade Lawrence. Okay? I'm just saying. You trade the healthy body and the prototypical NFL body and, a guy that's twice the size of Tua and he runs faster. He's actually a better athlete than Tua. Yeah. I don't know. What do you do? You keep Lawrence?
Yeah,
Tua?
it's no brainer.
Right. Me too. That's what I would do. No doubt about that. Hey, Chris Carson, those of you that are in fantasy, you now lost him for 1 to 2 weeks. And props to Marcus Spears because he went out of his way to rip Tristan Hill, a Cowboy. Did you see that video? That was disgusting. So Tristan Hill tackles Chris Carson, and while he's tackling him, he's also twisting his ankle and knee. Twisted it to the point that injured it, and he's out 1 to 2 weeks. I got to tell you something. There's no place in football for that crap. That's disgusting. Dude, you want to lay a lick on somebody? That's fine. It's legal. Don't hit their heads or anything. Don't do something dirty. But if you got them in the open field and they didn't see you, whatever, and you clocked them, that's the game. But to go out of your way after you tackle somebody to then try to injure them, I find that I personally feel you should be kicked out of the league for that. Or if not, at least you want to give them one break, you suspend them for 8 games. Not 2 weeks because the player's out 1 or 2 weeks. No. And if the player's out for the season, he should be out for the season. And if the guy's career's over, then your career should be over. That's what I would do. But if it's only 1 or 2 weeks, I'd suspend them for 8. At least. I'd rather kick them out because I find it so low life to do something. Like, I wouldn't mind if Chris Carson and 2 of his friends went and found Tristan Hill somewhere and beat the living crap out of him. I know it would be illegal. I know it would not be, something that would look good on Chris Carson, but I would be laughing my ass off and I would be egging it on. Seriously. I am dead serious about that. I find it disgusting that you would actually try to injure a player on purpose like that. If this game is tough enough as it is, you're going to injure people when you hit them. They're going to get injured just by running and cutting sometimes. So you're going to go out of the way and twist somebody's leg so they have a knee or ankle injury. That's disgusting, dude. It reminds me of this crazy ass Raiders linebacker, White. Come on, man. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about. Crazy ass White Romanowski.
Oh, that's Denver.
Same thing. Raiders too, bro. He played with the Raiders.
He played with the Raiders, but Denver originally.
Yeah. He was on somebody else's team too. He was somewhere else.
Was he Tampa?
San Fran?
San Fran, yes.
Right.
San Fran, Denver.
Right.
Raiders.
So anyway, Romanowski had a moment where Meggett, you remember Meggett from the Patriots? So they tackle Meggett and they're in the pile. And he is breaking Meggett's finger in the pile. And he talks about the story and all that. I have the soundbite. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's just stuff like, really, dude, that you're going to do that? The game's tough enough as it is, bro. Be a decent human being. It's got to be brutal for you to sack somebody, hit somebody, and then they're out for the year. You should feel bad about that. Not that you should feel bad about the way you played, but at least as a human being, you should feel for that other person that they're losing out on the rest of their season. It's part of the game. But if you're actually going out of your way after a legal play to do something that despicable, that's where I draw the line. So for me, Tristan Hill is a piece of crap, like Bill Romanowski, and there'll be pieces of crap forever in my book. You don't get it back in my eyes. All right, let me see if I got any questions here to answer for you all. And let's see what we got here. DJ Swearinger is the dirtiest player in the league. How many careers is that dude shortened by now? Yeah. I think Ford and Gesicki have the slot handled. Preston needs to focus on catching the ball. 1,000% radically. In Pro Camp's contest, QB Tua beat Lawrence, Big O. See videos. Bro, Pro Camp contest? Seriously, Andre? You think I'm worried about some, Pro Camp contest? Come on, bro. I watch football for a living, okay? And I look at the bodies of both guys. And I'm taking Trevor Lawrence every day of the week and twice on Tuesdays, okay? I think Preston Williams is a solid wide receiver, but he's too similar to Parker. We could have really benefited from having Albert Wilson this year. Love what Isaiah Ford is doing in the slot. Mike, Albert Wilson is injury prone. And so you were going to take a risk keeping a guy like that on your roster. But they kept Albert Wilson. He's the guy that chose to opt out. So it's not the Dolphins' fault that Albert Wilson's not here. But I don't think it's a Preston Williams thing. Albert Wilson is injury prone, so we don't even know if he was going to last the season. In fact, I don't know, has he lasted an entire season since he's been a full-time starter? Let's see. Oh, did you try the tape on your mouth when you went to sleep? No, I did not. No, I did not. And yes, I saw the Rogan video, bro. Yes, thank you. It was awesome. In fact, I think I sent you a note that the Rogan video, what I loved about it was that I learned that I actually breathe right, because you're supposed to breathe through your nose, not through your mouth. Those of you that are breathing constantly through your mouth, apparently it is so bad for you, because you breathe all the air directly into your lungs. And if you breathe through your nose instead, it goes through your sinus cavity, it gets filtered, and then I think it's nitro-oxygen or whatever the hell it is added to your oxygen. And so when it gets to your lungs, it now has the cleanest air possible. So it's good to know that by closing my mouth and breathing through my nose constantly, and it also opens up your air, your nostrils too. The less you the less you use your nose, the more the airwaves contract. I didn't know this. That was a very interesting conversation you sent me. I like that. That was good. Thank you very much, as always, Nico, for looking out, man. All of you, you're always looking out for us. It's good stuff. Big O, what are your thoughts on Landon Roberts? Because to me, his game is suspect so far. Yeah, he's all right. It's nothing special. Oh, I'm with you there. No doubt. No doubt. But again, it's second year. You're not solving every problem in your second year. And Bill hit it right on the head. You need linebackers. And that's part of the problem that they've got to fill now. And eventually they will, but it just won't happen overnight. Let's see, what else do we have here? Any other questions you guys have for me here? Romanowski was a dirty player. I remember when he got suspended for spitting on another player. Yes, that was the he was with the Broncos and he spit on, trying to remember who he spit on now. Oh, I forgot now. I forgot. I know that happened a couple times. I don't mean to disparage him because he passed away. The safety for the Redskins, the Kane, Sean Taylor, he did that too. He spit at somebody also. Yeah, that's happened a few times from different people. It's sad that you would do something like that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Do we have any other? Let me go to the text line too to check out. All watching, please subscribe. Get O to 3,000. Thank you, Dougie Fresh. Appreciate you. Appreciate you all out there, as always, for always reaching out to us and supporting us out there. Oh, it was J.J. Stokes, was it? Really? Oh, I don't remember the Niners receiver. I remember J.J. Stokes. RVA Big O, if Jamal Adams doesn't play, combined with the long trip in South Florida, the Finns have a chance. Try Pro Football Focus in reference to sacks allowed. All right, I'll check it out. I'll see if we can find it. Paul in Connecticut is chiming in. Says, great win last night. I went back and watched the game film from the last two game film Finns played. And I knew they were very close to winning a game, so I took them on the money line last night. You mean Thursday night, right? That's what you're saying. Thursday night, because it felt to me that they were hungry for a win, and it showed. It was awesome to see Fins up, baby, headed in the right direction. Hell yeah. I picked them to win too, man. I liked them in that game. Happy as can be for the Heat, but, man, we can't lose to the Lakers, as that would kill the Heat organization for a long, long time. Well, why? I'm sorry. I need to understand that ridiculous reasoning. Please, whoever sent in that text to the text line, because you didn't put a name. It looks like maybe it might be a first time because I don't see any other prior conversations on it. Why would it kill the Heat? That guy must not be a Heat fan. He's just like thinking like silly stuff. Let me explain to this guy. The Heat are playing with house money. Okay? They're not supposed to be here. Nobody's going to pick them to win. Everybody's going to pick the Lakers. All the experts are going to pick the Lakers. The Lakers are supposed to win. They have the two superstars. Miami has 0 proven superstars. 0. Okay? Jimmy Butler is more of an all-star, not a superstar. They have all the pressure on them. They are the Lake organization. They've got, 1,000 championship banners hanging. They've got to win it all. The Miami Heat are supposed to lose. The Miami Heat are already the envy of the other 28 owners in the NBA because they wish they had that coach, the toughness from that team, and that performance to sell to their fans. So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to hurt them for a long time when Bam Adebayo is only getting better, when Tyler Hero is only getting better, when Duncan Robinson is only getting better. Not exactly sure what that reasoning is, but I just want you to know it's absolutely asinine thinking. Okay? Any more silly questions out there? Michael Mata chiming in with a super chat. He says, what up, O? Looking forward to Wednesday's Lakers-Heat finals and Dodgers-Brewers wild card series. Well, I'm going for Marlins-Cubs. Okay? Marlins-Cubs for me. But I got you. And you've got to be, by the way, a Dodgers fan, right? Because I've never met a Brewers fan down here. Ever. Never. I've never walked up to somebody, hey, I'm a Phillies fan. Because, back in the day. I'm not talking about now. Oh, I'm a Brewers fan. Huh? What? Not even with Harvey Wallbangers did I ever see anybody like the Brewers. Young people are going, Harvey Wallbangers? Brewers? What the hell are you talking about? I'm sorry. Oh, wow. I love it. Great pick by your guest, Manny Navarro on the Canes. I wish I was a betting man. Oh, yeah, Manny nailed it. No, but if you listen to then right after that, okay, Ira Schoffel joined us, and he told us how bad FSU was going to be, and he picked Miami to win easily, too. So the guy that covers FSU also was brutally honest with you guys about how bad FSU was, and he was right. He was 1,000% right, actually. I mean, it was impressive how right he was. Kenneth Cleveland, by the way, I did not see it. You just sent in a super chat. Thank you, my man. Big O Kenneth Cleveland is live from the Boom Boom Room. The Miami Hurricanes and the Miami Heat are in the VIP room having steak and lobster with Hallie, Selma, and Sophia. Ooh, now we're talking. Julius 305 chimes in with a super chat. First of all, Julius, again, thank you for the gifts. Too kind, my man. Thank you. I'm gonna give this one, like I said, to my wife, since I have mine. And that's awesome on your part. And he says, I do not want pictures of you and Bill in those shirts. And we won't give them to you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He's making fun of I'm not sure, but I guess I don't see much of Jerome Baker last Thursday. He was kind of lost in this game. Dolphin linebackers aren't Studley yet. No, and they got to improve in that area. They're not great there. At times, they'll be serviceable. That's kind of what you want at this point. I mean, we can't expect all pros all over the place. But what I love is that they're building from inside out. You notice that, right? So it's the O-lines and D-lines that need to improve drastically this year. And something tells me next year you'll start seeing more around the periphery with linebackers, running backs, things like that. And you start seeing the edges. All right, let's wrap it up here, Bill. It is time. Thank you all out there, as always, for chiming in on the show. and giving us love and support. It is priceless what you guys do every single day for Bill and myself. We really appreciate it out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel as always. Plenty of stuff going on. We got to thank, of course, our super chatters first and foremost here. Man of 1,005 holds, Ray Grullon, Hank Goldberg's Left Nut, Jesse Minneapolis, Dougie Fresh, Michael Mata, Kenneth Cleveland, Julius 305. And if I forgot anybody, I am sorry.
I know that, dude. Where'd you get this?
Super chats.
Oh, gnarly. Awesome. Totally awesome.
Thank you all out there. Appreciate you as always. We'll be back tomorrow morning, same time at 11 a.m. We'll have some guests for you. We'll rock and roll, have some fun. Get ready for the NBA Finals on Wednesday. Get ready for the Marlins and Cubs on, I believe it's Wednesday, right? Am I correct? Yes, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the 3-game set. We won't need the Friday one because we'll beat the Cubs in the first 2 and then just cast them. It is a best of 3, right?
That's all it is. That
right.
first.
So the Cubs don't stand a chance against us. I mean, come on. We all know it.
Got nothing
Marlins
to
will win the
lose,
first
man.
2. Marlins will win the first 2, eliminate those sorry-ass Cubs, and they'll go sit with Bartman and have a good time. Anyway, you all be good out there. Much love. See you tomorrow.
Till tomorrow.